evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone tonight? We are back with another Creator Hangout. It is a little crazy. My computer's acting a little slow tonight, so I may be a little slow on getting everything up and running. If you guys are watching on YouTube or you're watching on Facebook, make sure you comment so I know that I can see you guys and that you're live and the comments are coming through. Raven says, I feel like this music is to be porn. It was. That's where I got it from. Not to find a lucky lady to listen to this, not to find a lucky lady to listen to this. Please. Tonight we have 4 exciting guests. Maybe you have a couple other ones. If you guys have a Kickstarter or something, and I know you and I invited you, please message me. We'll try to get you on the show, see what we can do to help you. I mean, even if you just want to kind of hang out, it's all going to be good. Raven says, oh, we got a comment. Thanks, Raven. I appreciate that. So without further ado, let's get our amazing guests on here. All these amazing comic creators. We got 2 from Florida. I don't know where the other 2 are from, but I know that Caleb is from Neverland. How are you, Caleb?
I'm good, Travis. How are you, man?
I'm good. Excited to be here tonight doing some stuff. You're in the Midwest, right? We're in the Midwest.
I am just south of Cleveland in Ohio.
Ohio. See that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's Midwest. I didn't even know people really lived in Ohio, so I'm super excited that someone does. So I'm excited about that.
They do.
Greg, also, you live somewhere.
I do.
In the continental United States, from what I understand, correct?
Upstate New York.
Upstate New York. I see. Yeah. So you're fancy. You think you're fancier than me, don't you?
We don't have Florida men here. So.
Oh, that's true. Do you are you a Starbucks man or are you a Dunkin' guy?
Dunkin', because I get it for free.
How do you get Dunkin' for free? My
girlfriend works there. So
Nice. I mean, I love Dunkin', so I mean, woman after my own heart. And we got Chris from Florida. How are you?
Yeah, right here in Orlando.
O-Town,
yes.
And then we've got Martin Pierre from the Palm Coast representing.
Oh, what's up?
How are you, Martin? How are you?
I'm good, sir. I think it's our first time, at least in a year, doing one of these together. So good seeing you.
Normally, it's not one that one of us are hosting, right? It's normally another show that we both happen to
be. We were on with, I think we were on with, gosh, I can't remember. It was somebody else, but yeah.
Varian, right? I think we did a Varian one.
Oh, let's not talk about that. I don't know who that is.
Well, he did a thing once. It was fine. But tonight we're going to look over these amazing Kickstarters. We're going to talk to you guys. We're going to get you some backers. I'm going to set some random goals out, and I'm going to stay on until I get you guys your money. So slash your backers, because that's how I do. I kind of do it like a bad PBS telethon, right? That's kind of my message of the way I do these things. Try to get going on. So let's first, and whoever gave me the comment first. Let's see in the private chat. See who's here. By the way, I want some more comments besides Raven. Come on, guys. I know we've got some watchers. Let's see who's hanging out with us tonight.
Oh, Raven Gregory. I have a story about Raven Gregory.
Yeah, what do you got for Raven Gregory? He just did the intro to Cthulhu Invades Wonderland. We had to send it back because it wasn't kid friendly. But
that sounds like Raven Gregory. But no, Raven Gregory and Christian Baranek were the 2 of the, and Jeff Kaufman were the 3 people that convinced me I should do comic books.
Wow! All right.
Yeah, 100 years ago at MegaCon, Raven and Christian were on a panel together, and they were very nice with the panel, but they were very generous with questions afterwards, and that convinced me I could do it. That and talking to Jeffrey Kaufman, who was doing a book called Totem at the time, and I said, you know what? Forget film and television. That's where the money's at. Let's do comics.
Right. Exactly. This is Sean Barber. Hello, Sean. All right, so the first one up to kind of show their stuff. By the way, just a quick question about the Raven Gregory. Was that in the gift days?
It was, yes.
Oh, okay, all right. Not a lot of people know about that. Raven actually didn't think I knew about it. He thought I Google searched it. I was like, no, my friend, I have signed the gifts.
I have autographed copies as well. I also met Stefan Nilsson there the first time, and that's you know him too, Travis.
Yeah. Small world. Kyron says hi. Look at these amazing creators. Wendy Gale says, hey. All right. So first up, we have Mittens. Mittens is up first. So as I bring it up on the screen, why don't you share what Mittens is about, Greg?
It's about a notorious space pilot / master thief, and he's doing one last burglar job for this cat mob boss on Planet Yarn. And the item that he's looking to retrieve is actually more mysterious and important than he actually thinks it is. So yeah, it's a 3-issue series right now, but it's going to be at least 6. So yeah.
Nice. Well, one of the things I think that's unique about it, especially if is it's all in a blue tone, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, we did that on purpose because the cat. Well, it's based on my girlfriend's cat from when she was a kid, but obviously he wasn't a space pilot.
Right.
But I guess when the cat died forever long ago, a bunch of cats showed up like a mafia wedding or a funeral. And, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll spin that since I'm a writer. And I was like, let's just put that in space. So I made him a space pilot, and then here we are. It's blue tone because we made the cat like colorblind, and that's like the only, so you're kind of seeing through his eyes. But at some point, there's going to be some color.
Oh, I thought maybe you couldn't afford the other colors.
That's also why I did that.
I think printers, since most is digital these days, I don't think they care if you only do one color. They're gonna charge you for the whole gamut regardless.
Since you're scrolling here, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
That the photo you used, are you officiating the wedding there? What was that photo? You got the microphone, the vest. You're looking sharp there.
I was a best man at my best friend's wedding.
Okay.
Years. Yeah, that's the only good picture that I can find ever. So
He was a draw-in character for Broke Down in 4 Dead Bodies. That was the same picture that I had to use for that. So he's one of the two doorbells of Mr. Washington. Which is pretty cool. All right, Wendy says, Wendy posted. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, that's my next thing. My computer's a little slow today. I'm actually going to shut off my fulfillment stuff because that's probably what's slowing it down, maybe. So see if that speeds it up a little bit. But let me share this out. All right, so we are at $5,000 with 215 backers.
yeah.
Less than a day.
We're at the final little bit, but this is the highest backers and money for any Sierra Nova project. So congratulations for that. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess once you fulfill stuff, people come back, so that's good.
Right. That's the
People
way
should
it works.
probably do that, yeah.
They like that. They like fulfillment. That's a thing that people like.
Getting things, yes.
It's a good concept too, though. I mean, let's not sell it short.
So I'm going to try to get you to 217. We're going to try to get you 2 backers tonight. We'll come back to you in a little bit, and that'll probably get you to. We'll get you to 525, 5,025. I think we can do that. That should be achievable, Greg. And we'll check back with you in just a little bit. Next up on the shopping block of Amazing Book. By the way, let me rewind for a minute. Does anybody have any more questions for my boy here?
I'm just excited to get the book.
Right. All right.
Great.
So let's try to get him some backers. Chris, you are up next. Now, Chris, you've never met Martin. Martin is a very active convention scene goer. So if you go to a convention, in fact, he has a great convention in the Palm Coast. I cannot go because I'm going to be in New Hampshire, and there's like 12 other conventions. But if I was not in New Hampshire, I would skip all the cons. Well, yes, I would skip all the cons to PalmCon.
Oh, thank you, sir.
When is
September
that?
7th, September 17th at the Palm Beach County Convention Center. Look, I got a flyer and everything.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a low-key, family-friendly show we're putting on. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check that one out.
Please do, man.
All right, so let's get the other one up. Sorry, again, my computer is super slow today. And I tried to kill time while chatting.
Well, it's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up. I got it.
Okay. We got time.
So, Chris,
Yes, sir.
tell us about Little Z, how it's bigger than a comic, because I think people need to know that it's bigger than a comic.
Yeah. I can start with that part of it. I kind of did it in the reverse. I did, because I'm a filmmaker first, and I'm new to the comic book world. So I shot this this is a TV pilot, TV series that I'm working on. We shot the pilot in January. So we're trying to get it picked up as a TV pilot. And I said, hey, why not make it a comic book? I think it works well as a comic book. This is the variant cover for the comic book that came out in March, the first issue that we were working on. So a little bit about it. It takes place 12 years after a zombie apocalypse. It's a horror comedy. Mr. Evil, this bad guy, has taken over the whole area, and he runs the police department and everything like that. And it follows around Scott. He ends up marrying this girl, and this woman has a zombie for a preteen daughter. So it follows him around with this blended family, trying to learn how to navigate being a new stepdad, especially a new stepdad to a preteen daughter, as well as working for the police department and Mr. Evil, because Mr. Evil is looking for all the zombies that can regenerate themselves, this daughter being one of them. So he's a little conflicted between protecting his daughter and then doing his job as a zombie hunter during the day. So that's the basic overall thing of it. So this is my first comic book into the comic world.
And the other cool thing, you can get the pilot too on the Kickstarter, right?
Yeah. Yep. There's a link. You're going to get that too. That's one of the pledges in there. You can get the link to the pilot. It's a 36-minute pilot that really hasn't been seen much anywhere yet. So you would be one of the first ones to get to see it.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, we'll try to get you to, again, same thing. We'll get you 22 backers, try to get you to close to 700 if we can.
Yeah.
So we'll do six. I'm going to do $6.99. Kind of.
I like it. Yeah.
But yeah, Little Z, I'm excited about it. Anybody have any questions about Little Z? Yeah, we'll come back and we'll see the trails. What you got, Martin?
Yeah, the trailer's on there too. If you go to the site, that's the video.
Sorry, I muted myself there. I did have a question. What was your background in film and television? Because that was my life for like 15 years.
I started out as an actor, and I liked being behind the camera more than, well, I still like being in front of the camera. So I went to film school, and I found out that I like writing and directing the most. So I do a lot of writing and directing and just working my way through it now. Fairly new into all that, like 4 or 5 years of doing that behind the camera stuff. So,
but all there in Orlando, Central Florida area.
All Central Florida. I mean, my acting was all over the state and everything, Miami and Tampa and everywhere. But yeah, Central Florida so far as a filmmaker. Yes.
When were you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to take over, but I'm sure we've crossed paths multiple times. When were you primarily active as an actor?
Like early 2000s.
Okay.
Early 2000s. I was doing a lot of acting.
No.
Yeah. Commercial TV. Florida's a very commercial state, so.
Yeah. I ended up cutting infomercials for about 5 years straight down in South Florida. So I'm sure we had to have crossed paths somewhere in that.
Yeah. So you're mainly in South Florida?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm older than most of us. I graduated college in 1993, and at that point, Florida was like this epicenter for television and film production, and that of course all dried up. So I ended up working the commercial end of things, doing infomercials, which are so exciting, and a lot of direct response stuff.
Yeah, I missed all the heyday of Florida, so hopefully maybe someday I'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and as you guys know, I came to Florida for film, and when I got here, I realized there wasn't any of that here. On TV, it looked really good. We had all the, Universal shows were on, and like they always talked about the Disney backlot and how they were full doing things. When I got here, they're like, yeah, we just talk about that on TV. It's all lies and slander.
When did you come down, Travis?
I came down in 99.
That was right about the time it all kind of stopped. Yeah, maybe a little before that.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
They had one show for Nickelodeon that was wrapping up. I think it was Double Dare, the last season of Double Dare, and then that's it. And then wrestling, the Impact Wrestling took over. They had that. That's it.
Yeah, they were filming Sequest at Universal.
Sequest.
They moved it from Hollywood to Florida for the second and third season, and I actually turned down a job on it. It's like, there's so much work, I'm not going to bother moving to Universal. That was a bad call on my part. I'm like, there's so much work out here. They were going to film Speed 2 down here. I'm like, I'm already on the cast. They're already on the crew. It's going to be great. And of course, that moved to the Keys, and that was pretty much the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, the only film thing I did is I got to do a little bit of The Punisher, but like I did the B-roll and went out to Tampa, so it didn't matter. I didn't even get credited, which I was super mad about. So I was like, I got to be in a superhero movie, but not really, nothing.
Oh, the movie? Oh, which one?
Yeah, the second one, the one with Triple H. What's his name? The Punisher.
That's
John Travolta.
That's the third one. If you forget about the Dolph Lundgren one, that's the real Punisher.
Yeah.
We all forget about that one.
Who doesn't love sequels?
Right? Yeah. Who doesn't love Sequest?
Best. All right. So next up, we're going to talk about Caleb's Neverland.
All right.
So,
interestingly enough, I have a film background too. So
what?
Yeah. Actually worked in film for about almost a decade in the Chicago area. So
Oh, wow.
So comics is the dumping ground for all of us? Is that where we all go to die? Is that what it is?
maybe. I don't know. Honestly, like my ideas, I was considering bringing them to like do an indie film with, and it was just too much. Like after doing this zombie flick that I did, kind of the last year I was working on film, I was like, there's no way I can do my ideas in indie film. It's just not possible. But yeah, so as this is one of them right here. It'd be impossible on an indie film budget. So it's this is the Neverland. It's actually inspired by watching my kid grow up during the pandemic, and I had this thought that this is about a boy growing up. His mother gets sick during a global pandemic, and he escapes to Neverland one night to find that the magic has been lost, and he has to figure out why that happened and how to bring it back. And it's really just me watching my kid grow up during it, and we read Peter Pan, the original novel, together, and I was kind of blown away by how dark and different it was than everything else I've seen about Peter Pan. So I was like, what if we took this theme and this tone and made like a sequel that was happening now? And that's kind of where this all was born out of.
Nice. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is a rare thing for you, putting out an issue 2 in the same year, right? Normally it takes a bit.
I haven't done it since my first book.
Okay.
I did Alter Life as 5 issues, but we did 1 issue and then we had a big break because that was my first time doing it. And then
Sure.
Then it was back to back. Once I started 2, it was like 2, 3, 4, 5, like within basically a 2-year period. So, but yeah, I haven't done it in a while. Actually, it's we've been doing where we do the first issue, and then if it does well enough, we just kind of jump straight to trade. But with this one, it was a little bigger. It's full color. When we did Nook, it was 3 issues, black and white, so it was just a lot easier to put together.
Right.
But I feel like this one works well as kind of like a serial series, and then it gives us a lot of room to make cool stuff. Like we're doing these 80s fantasy film homage variant covers for each campaign, and we're doing these they're like pin-up art that you get. They're going to be like a whole series of them. For one, Howie Noel's doing them for each campaign, so that by the end of the 5 campaigns, you'll actually have like a collected little art series by Howie Knoll of all the characters, and just trying to do something fun and different that makes you want to keep coming back.
Well, and I love this. I told you, like, this is the cover to me. Like, this is. I love this style.
He blew me away with that, man. I was just like, I didn't know what he was gonna do with it, because I'm like, I just want Tiger Lily for this one, because the second issue is really like showcases how awesome she is in this story, and he nailed it, man.
That's great. That's great. Well, all right. So I've got you at $3,689. The 153.
Oh yeah.
When I wrote it down,
I was gonna say, it's already working, Travis. It's already
right. And I want to get you to 3,699 and 155 backers. So, but we'll get that going on. But yeah, I love it. Oh, we got people talking. Hold on. What's up, TG? Hey, Daniel. We're just promoting some Kickstarters. I was just talking about you to Martin. I told him that I sent you your book earlier. Because we're going to go to Martin just next, and you can show him the box, because that's what I want Daniel to see. My 10-year-old said something that really hit me hard. We were leaving a graduation. Graduation was just driving through the parking lot. Stopped. She said it's a hard living through history.
Yeah. It's actually interesting, because I've been selling this issue 1 at cons, and when you pitch it to like preteen kids, they're like blown away, because they're like, this is me. Like, this is about this story is about me. And it's just like a really cool moment, and they pick it up and they want to experience that.
Nice. So does anybody get any questions for Caleb about the book, about the process? All right. Moving on. We added another person. Hold on. Braden's coming to join us. Hey, Braden.
Oh, hey.
Hey, what's going on, man?
I was going to wait patiently.
You're good. Were you back there for a while?
Yeah, I guess I was. I just went on James's show, so I just got off of James's show.
Nerf, I saw you lurking on Facebook now. Yeah, Neff, I tried to make a comment, but my computer's been acting wonky today. I think you ever like not reset it after a series of time? Like, I think I'm at that point where you need to reset it, Travis. Stop. You just, it's ready. It's time to do it. I won't do it.
What are you working on? What kind of computer you got?
I've got a Dell. It's only about a year old. I don't know anything special, but it's got a video card and stuff. Because I do web design, I run it constantly, web design, and then this stuff.
I was going to say, if it's a Mac, my Mac just said update time. So here we go again.
All right, so we're gonna stop Neverland for a minute, and we're gonna get to the next book, which is Martin's book.
Me.
And do you hate that, Martin, when people used to do that? Did that happen a lot to you?
I'm so old, it was Marty McFly, dude. That was...
Okay, all right, well, that's better than Martin.
That was well after me, yeah. After my heyday.
You got off light, my friend. All right, so tell us about this awesome box set. Daniel, hold on, I want to contact Daniel, if you're still watching, this is the one I wanted you to watch, because he has a Kickstarter coming out. I think a box set would be great. He's a boxer, so I think there's some cool stuff to show him.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the box was introduced to me. It wasn't my idea. Kevin Laporte had done one box. He's with Flatline Comics, and I was like, that's a cool idea. I want to steal that. And so I stole it. But then I worked in my own design elements into it to give it, here's a sample of one. The Arthur box, just to give my own vibe.
Oh, nice.
And it opens up nice and pretty. I sign it on the inside.
Solo, let me see.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
show us the box.
The From Blood will be my fourth one. Let's see. Arthur, what do I have? I have Good, the Bad, and the Prehistoric. Still waiting on issue 2 from that. And then my Deep Space Tragedy box. I loved it. I love how the black came out so nice on this. But anyway, so this is our series From Blood. It's been kicking around for a while. We funded it 2 years ago. We funded it 2 years ago, and I'd picked up a few more followers on Kickstarter and decided I wanted to bring it back again, but I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to just reintroduce the same product. So I didn't have a box for this one, so this is my chance to do a collector's box, doing a black. We're doing a metal cover, which I'm going to do all black. It's going to be like a thick matte black where just the characters kind of showing through. This was kind of my experimental Kickstarter. It's a very short one. I had plans for it, but unfortunately, working on PalmCon while I launched it proved to be too much work. My initial idea is I was listening to a gaming podcast talking about kickstarting gaming, and they talked about daily stretch and benchmark goals. So my initial idea was to do daily goals, but unfortunately, I don't have the time for that right now. So maybe on the next project, I'll get But that's why it was a short project. So I was supposed to, hey, if we get to 20 backers today, everybody gets a trading card. We get to, $500 tomorrow, everybody gets. So that was the original concept behind it. But again, it's just trying to get the product out there to new readers. We can be honest here. I had this in the direct market last year, so I do have quite a lot of copies sitting around that I need to do something with. So that's also kind of what spawned this. And also just take a little more inside baseball. When I started doing Kickstarter, I was pivoting how I do comics, and I've dropped a lot of books that I was working on, a lot of books with other creators, and just to focus on like 4 main titles. And this is one of those 4 titles that I'm going to try to rotate new product with, or some kind of something different with the product throughout the years as I rotate between these 4 tentpole projects and see how that works. As opposed to trying to put out, before we were putting out so many books in the year, it was too much and it wasn't fun. I want to have fun with comics, Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Just rambling here.
Well, and I love, the box sets. I know they do really well for you at cons, and you have a great of them. And I do boxes, but I don't even bring them to cons. I've got the Voodoo box, and I got the Cthulhu boxes. I got all the boxes, but I think that you do a better job of highlighting them and showing, how special they are. And I think that that's a strength to you. And I think anybody who has a strength, regardless of what it is, lean into it. Like if it sells well or works well for you, do it, man. I think it's great.
My whole goal is just to get people to read the books. If I can make some money in the process, that's a nice bonus. As long as I cover my bills and people read the books, I'm happy.
So let's try to get you to 9. You were at 30 backers, but again, somebody jumped on and ruined my numbers here. So we're going to have to get to 33. I mean, it's horrible, right? No respect. Daniel was watching, says he's in. I don't know if that was the guy, but
hello. Yeah, get in. Buy them books.
Yeah, Daniel, I think a box. He's doing some cool stuff. I want to get a box set. We're making a book right now for him. He's a lawyer, a local lawyer. But he's a really cool cat. Like he's got a gym in the back of his law firm that he does boxing and MMA and all sorts of crazy stuff. And we're writing a book kind of about his life and about all that stuff. So really cool.
Did you post a picture with this guy today or yesterday?
He posted a picture of
okay.
it. Yeah, with Voodoo Nations. Yeah, he's a very cool guy, but he's going to be active in the scene and he loves comics, loves us, loves creators, especially in Florida.
Nice.
He's a cat. Danny, I love you, and I was so happy to talk to you today.
Danny's here. I see that you guys solved your differences.
Danny and I solved our differences. Yeah, we talked on the phone today. I think things good. What happened is he got a girlfriend, and I was less lovable because he got a girlfriend. So that's
the nerve.
I'm a little upset, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm married. I guess I shouldn't judge, but whatever. All right. So let's get to Braden. Let's look at your stuff. Braden, I love this book. Oh, wait, hold on. Back to Martin first real quick. Anybody have any questions for Martin about From Blood?
Everything. No.
I got to tell you, there's one thing that he does that is amazing that I wish all creators do. In the center of his book, he'll tell you what number of his publishing company it is. Like this is book 54 or whatever. It's something that you're like, I feel like Chris can do it because he's at number 1, but Caleb, myself, Greg, we've been doing a few. Like it just feel weird to have that number now.
Well, I'll tell you, that's actually a reset. I had started that when we were just underground before we got distribution through Diamond,
right?
And we got to 22, but then I reset it back to 1 for everything post Diamond because we changed our cover treatment and things like that. So we have pre-Diamond and post-Diamond. The numbering is slightly different. It's 1 less digit in the pre-Diamond era, but this was my way to kind of, since we were getting a national audience, to try to everybody got to get them all, you know.
You got to catch them all. But I love it. And I remember seeing it like early on, like it broke down 2, and I was like, I need to take that idea. And then I never did it. And then I'm at like 20 books later, I'm like, damn, it's way too late to start that now. Danny says, Lauren says, stop being mean. All right, Lauren, I'm sorry. Danny Travis signed his big cards, forgot about me. It's contracts, not contract. It's multiple. But yes, I did forget. No, I love you, and I'm excited about being in the store on the 27th, signing some books, slinging some books.
Not yet.
All right, Braden, this cover is amazing. Let's talk about this cover. Let's talk about this book.
Yeah.
Talk about some black and white horror. Let's do it.
Let's talk about my book. No, just kidding. All right, so Outwash Onslaught is a homage to old slasher horrors, and it's about this guy named Trevor Howell who was murdered and forgotten and has been wandering around the ocean, the floor of the ocean, with only one goal in mind: to kill the crew he hired to take him out there in the first place. And he doesn't remember much of his former life, where he lived, where he worked, or even who he really was. And the only company is a demon that keeps egging him on, but seems to know the way.
Nice. And this comic's been in production for a while, right?
Yeah, so it originally started off as a 4-part miniseries, but after going through it with Chuck, he was like, you have a lot of extra going on in this book. You could honestly just mash this all into one book. And I was like, because we had developed characters, and I was like, well, how am I going to do that? And I was like, what if I did it from the perspective of the killer? And it's just, the killer going through and like making his kills.
Nice. So Chuck had a 4-issue editing gig and decided to make it a 1-issue editing gig. Okay. That's what I'm hearing. Like,
yeah, well, he was just talking about it. It's like you could really do this all in one book. And I was like, okay, and so I did, and we're actually doing really good. We're really close to our second stretch goal, which is you get a beer coaster. All physical backers will get a beer coaster of a gender bent Howl on an anchor, kind of done in a pinup style, and then all backers will receive an extra digital book from called Insane Asylum, and it's an old horror anthology I worked on with Frank Martin and a few other guys back when Insane Comics used to be a thing.
Nice. I had you down, by the way, when we started at 202306, and you've already got the 2 backers that I was going to give you for the.
Oh, I appreciate all you guys.
So they're
Danny,
already...
there's a retailer's perk in there if you need one.
Danny. Danny. So we're at 2041 for that. So we're
if you're wondering, I haven't sold any retailers perks, Danny.
So we'll get you at 250. Not sure if we back this one. We got to get in store. And I'm going to say this, Braden. Your comics that I've been reading, this little time that we've got to know each other, are some of my favorites. I'm really enjoying your stuff. I really enjoyed Nobody.
I greatly appreciate that.
I really enjoy. So, and they're getting better and better. And this one sounds like it's gonna do that for me. Several I was like, oh, this is okay. And then Nobody I was like, oh, this is good. And then so I'm hoping this is gonna be like my favorite book, top 10. I'm gonna say fuck Neil Gaiman, and like you're gonna be the top priority.
Fuck it, Gaiman.
Gaiman, we're done. For years, and this is probably a '90s kid in me. Like I really struggled to say Gaiman, even though I knew that was his name. I would always call him. I don't even remember. Gaiman. I would always go. I was like, don't say that. I was like, but that's his name. Like he says it in interviews. So I was like, no, can't do it. I don't want to be rude. But yeah, we're gonna get you to 2050. 109 is what we're gonna try to get. Because we already got you a few. Because Wendy has been great at the shares, which is fantastic.
Wendy's the best, and if you didn't back her book, I have to question your morals.
So, any questions for Outwash Onslaught before we go to my book?
Can I ask a question? Sorry, I
Yeah.
keep asking questions.
Yeah, do it, man.
You mentioned Insane Comics. Why does that sound familiar to me?
It was an old comic publishing company back in 2015.
Oh, way back then.
Oh,
Yeah, they were. I was actually Frank Martin and I were actually the first like launch titles with the company, and I ended up leaving a few years later because I couldn't just pump out as much books as I wanted. Like I was still young and dumb and still learning the industry. And then like a few years later, the CEO of the company was like, "Oh, well," without telling any of the creators that were still being published, was like, "We're done." Like, and
interesting.
no one knew what was going on. No one had any idea, and it was so sudden, and so yeah.
Where are you from? Right now, I don't even know.
I'm from the tip of Washington. I live
Oh,
right
so-
on the peninsula.
Oh, so you're
Uh,
way over there. Okay.
Yeah. We live
And is
in a
that where
small
Insane
city.
Comics was?
No, it was by James C. Munch, and I don't know where he was located exactly.
Because
I
it
just know
sounds
that he
familiar,
was-
but I don't think we ever crossed paths. I don't know.
Well, like you might have read some of the. So I haven't been with Insane Comics that long. Like I branched out and did my Braidoxy. I've been doing Braidoxian for a while, but Insane Comics, like there was like like I'm trying to think of the most popular titles. It was like Hollow Girl, Frank Martin's Modern Testament, and then Demons was published through them for a while by Tyler Carpenter, I think.
Yep,
So-
that's correct.
Yeah.
I didn't know about them at all, Martin, but they were like dying as I came back into the scene like a few years ago. So
Yeah, it was.
they died in like 2017,
Oh,
2016.
that was a short-lived thing. It was like 3 or 4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your dog book, man. I like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
book.
yeah. So this is my wife's book, which is pretty cool. It's
Oh.
called
I'm excited.
Van Winkle.
This is my favorite
Uh,
Orange Cone project yet.
So is there going to be a crossover with Mittens now?
Maybe. I was going to cross it over Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies, but I guess we could do Mittens. So yeah, Pup Van Winkle. My wife came up with this idea, and she's been working on it for a while. This has been in production for over a year. Her and Martha got together and created this cute little book. So it's not. First thing to say, it's like a PG-13 book. So there's some violence and stuff. Not a lot of language. She wants our daughter to be able to read it, but there is some heavier stuff in the concept wise of the book, which is pretty cool. And it's not just anamorphic animals talking; the animals and the people talk, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. That sounds like my kind of book.
Yeah, the story is about Foley, which is the dog, and Foley falls asleep for 15 years. And when he wakes up, he can't find his owner. He can't find anybody, but there is this mean man called Sheriff Spivey, who is capturing all the dogs and says they've gone rogue and wild. So we're gonna hunt down those dogs and kill them all. So he's trying to figure out what's happening, why things have gone crazy, what this mysterious cat has to do with it, what this squirrel friend he has to do with it. So it's a lot of fun. I'm super excited to have my wife's book on it. What's really cool about this is one of those situations where we finished because Orange Cone made a new rule at the beginning of the year because of the paper shortage that once we fulfill the digital, we'll launch another project and kind of continue on that process. So we finished the Voodoo Nations. It's at the printer. We're ready to do it. And we realized that this book was completely done. So I was like, you know what? We got a few weeks before our next Kickstarter because our next one's not planned for late September. So I was like, we got 3 weeks. Let's throw out Pup Van Winkle and see what we can do. And you guys have come to bat for it, which is great. I've been super excited about the support that I've come. All these covers, literally, I paid for them last week, which is super cool. So it's really good that I have people in the community who are just like, yeah, you want to make a new book? Let's do it. So it's really fun. And apparently the best book we've made, right? That's Martin States.
I like dogs. What can I say?
I like dogs. But yeah. And Danny's going to do an exclusive, and the collective is going to back and support, which is pretty cool. I think I can get 2 backers. We're at 1740 now. And we'll get to 84 backers for the wife. 1760. I think we can do that. So any questions about Pop Van Winkle and what we're doing here at Orange Cone?
Nobody?
No.
Well, you said this was Heather's book, right?
This is Heather's book. Yeah.
Oh, why didn't she get on here? No.
What I said.
That's a great question. Heather is putting the kids to bed. She will try to be on as much promotion as possible, but yep. I'm more the late night news stuff, and her work. If you guys don't know, she works in child welfare, so sure, her job is very demanding. So like, she needs to get that rest, but she will be out promoting and hustling this book. So it's fun, and it first appeared in the collective. Last issue of the collective. So some people have read a little bit of it. Let me share this out. Get that. So, any other questions besides where's Heather? She is way cooler than me. Like, so I totally wanted to hang out with her. She's a lot less aggressive on Facebook. She's a lot less. I mean, everything about her is better. So. So it's all good.
That is the second time somebody's asked for her tonight.
I was just trying to have her back because she demanded Travis to back nobody. So
it's true. All right, so that is our whole wrap of everybody's book. We've gone through them one time. Thank you guys for those who've backed and already supported and kind of got through our first stuff. Any comments from anybody? Anybody who wants to see any books in particular? If not, we're going to go through the whole thing again, kind of talk about it. As you see, when I put these Creator Comics hangouts together, like I bring creators at all different levels, from people who've been doing this for a long time, people who are just trying to short goals, long goals, whatever the case would be. Should I add the cover cost to the Pop Pledge? No, but
So thought about that.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what's the best thing, because that's going to. Yeah, I would add a little bit. Yeah, if you want to do that, you can, Danny. That's fine. So we'll figure that out, and we'll adjust as accordingly. And I think you're going to need more than 8 covers if we're going to do a signing. I think that's a given. So, all right, let's go over the rounds again of everybody's book and see where everybody's at. Everybody's good? Everybody's having a good time? Just
everybody's great. We're good.
Talking about stuff. Let's, as we go through this, I'm going to bring up a subject matter.
Good. Okay.
That we can talk about as we're going through this campaigns and kind of doing the numbers, and we'll kind of talk about it in between. So when I bring you up, I'll ask some questions. So recently there was a little scandal at C2E2 about people doing acetate covers on top. Have you guys heard about this?
Yep.
Okay.
Dark something comics.
Yeah, Black Scorpion, I think is the name of them, right?
This is the one. Was this one where they put the metal cover on the book and sold it?
Yeah, they put acetate on. They took old copies of
Miles Morales or something, right?
Of Miles Morales. Hey, Brian, I did invite you to the thing. I sent the link. If you go in the chats and find your link, you can come up and talk about your book towards the end. No problem. We'd love to talk about the Carol Prime stuff. So yeah, they grabbed old dollar copies of Miles Morales' first appearance, and they added this cover to it, unapproved by Marvel, and sold it.
Yeah, Black Flag Comics. That's who it was.
Black Flag Comics. You're right.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That is insane.
I'd love. So we're gonna go around the room and ask your thoughts on that, whether or not you think that's okay. Marvel, for the record, has made a statement that they do not feel that that's okay. Shockingly enough. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. But I know people who do it. I know people who do remarks and they send them in. You know, I know people who do all sorts of stuff. So how is this any different? Is it just a problem because of the mass quantities, or what? So what's your thoughts as we go through these books? So
Well, I don't think this wouldn't have been on anybody's radar if they didn't do that pre-sell and sell them out as the show was opening. That's what put them in the limelight. I'm sure they've done this before, or others have done this. So I come from a weird place. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to jump in, but I come from a weird place. When I got into comics, which would have been 2008, we were at that point where the variant cover craze had kind of gone away, and it was story, content over cover, and it seems we've drifted back to this world of, Marvel makes, Marvel sold 500,000 copies of Amazing Spider-Man #1 with 70 covers. Well, of course you're going to sell 500,000 copies. Right. So it's like the industry seems to be cycling back, and maybe this is a sign that the variant cover craze might be finally reached its apex, because you see these guys on Whatnot just trying to sell these covers for $10 a pop, because they've ordered so many of them.
Yeah, no, and I've heard that from retailers that like these people who are, if you don't have the corner of the market and have had it for a while, it's really hard to get in the game now, which shows that it's dying, right? Because anybody, if variants are working, anybody can get in the game. Any thoughts on it? Any other thoughts? Nothing. Martin, you're too inspiring.
No, I got a million thoughts on this.
Let's ask this. I know for myself, I don't buy variant covers when I go to the store. I don't buy variant covers. I'll occasionally buy one, but I normally buy the main cover. Would you do variant covers on your books if you didn't need to for Kickstarter? Because I know that it's kind of a necessity to get your goals. Would you do it?
I don't do them. I don't really do them. I think Sever's the only one that had alternate covers. But Outwash and It Was Nobody didn't, and they did. Outwash is actually starting to become my biggest campaign right now.
I might, just because I like having them.
You like collecting the art?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for someone who was just dissing the variant covers, I do have a short box full of those Marvel Star Wars #1 covers that I was tracking down, because I thought that it was fun. I mean, it's fun to go after when there's that many covers.
I think variants work. I feel they're good for like bigger books, but like these 24-page one-shots I'm doing, I feel that a single cover is fine.
Yeah, no. And Chris, I had to talk to you and explain what a variant cover was. So
Yeah, I was gonna ring in here from the novice side, because I did come to you you explained it to me for one,
right.
and then I was confused if should I do one or not. I had to ask. I asked around and I read around, and I've seen both sides of like how it's good and bad. So I was still on the fence what to do. So I mean I did this one, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I'm still learning how, if it's good or bad to have one. I know coming from a comic book store, kind of, it can be overloaded with too much content of different variants. So yeah,
I work with a retailer, so I can speak on the retailer thing a little bit.
Okay.
But I'll say Kickstarter seems to be more. I mean, when you're selling on Kickstarter, they haven't had a chance to read your product yet. So I understand the need for variant covers just to try to drive that dollar up. If I buy my $8 or my $15 cover with a special, painted cover or whatever. So I understand it. And like Kickstarter is a weird market. I haven't quite got my brain around it yet, because like I said, it isn't really based on content. It's based on flash, because you're selling the book before anybody's ever had a chance. I mean, like with Mittens, great concept. You had me on Space Kitten. Yeah. So there's a high concept, and I don't know. I just feel that with Kickstarter, those variant covers might be the difference between funding and not funding sometimes.
well, this was my jump into Kickstarter. This whole world that I just learned about as well too. With this, talking to Travis, was to get this, just to get myself on Kickstarter and everything. So that's why one reason I did the variant cover as well. And Danny, I did talk to you about that too. he pushed for the movie cover as well, because this is the movie poster.
Oh, that's right. Danny's a retailer. That's right. The collective, right? Yeah. Then, can I ask Danny a question?
Sure.
By
But
the way,
let me
Sorry.
get, just to make sure that if anybody needs to leave at the hour mark, I want to get two people's thing and just show that.
Oh, do your thing. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're good. But again, Danny, stick around. Martin's gonna ask you a question in a second. And
This is
Greg,
stupid.
how many covers for ink did you say you had earlier when we were off air?
Oh, me? So
Greg has a decent amount of ink covers. How many?
1 second.
oh yeah, I was gonna ask. Do you have prints for Mittens, right?
Prince.
Yeah. Do you have like
All
prints or like
prints.
posters or?
There is
N64, right?
Nintendo 64 inspired print. I have to say inspired, so Nintendo doesn't sue me. That's on certain reward tiers. It's also an add-on. I don't know if the add-on is if everybody chose it or not. So you could.
Well, I was just I showed my girlfriend this book, and she's like, "You need to get one of these because I want a poster of this."
It's funny. I think we're showing our age, Greg, where you're doing a Nintendo 64 homage. I did an Atari 2600 homage. That's how old I am. I'm that old.
So we got you the 217.
Hey, look at you. Hey.
So we've achieved you. We can mark you off. So you're at 217. You're still $4 under what I promised you, but I think that'll come pretty quickly. So, but congratulations.
Yeah, I have to up my pledge now.
Everybody up your pledge. All of the followers up our pledge $1.
Yeah. So congratulations there. We're gonna do one more. I think. Let's see. Let's check out how Little Z's doing. Little Z has not moved, so we've got to do a little push over there.
They're not,
But by the way, there's 5 covers for ink too.
Does Mittens have a retail tier?
No, I don't have any retail tiers because I'm stupid and I just haven't ever done that on a Kickstarter yet. So I could create one right now.
You better go real quick.
edit that right now.
Sweet.
All right. So Little Z needs a little love.
Yeah.
He's still at where he left off. 659.20. We're trying to get to 699 and 22 backers. So if you haven't backed Little Z, show it a little love, show it a little support. I'm going to keep you around, Chris. We're going to keep fighting for that in a minute.
I'm here, man. I'm here.
So we'll make it. We'll show some trailers. We'll make it all about Little Z in a little bit. But Martin, go ahead and ask that question to Danny. Now that we've got 2 out of it.
I've come up with another question too. The question is because I work with a retailer and dealing with some of these retail exclusives that these companies, especially companies like Dynamite, offer. The hurdles are almost near impossible to jump through. I was wondering if Danny's experienced that, having to order so many copies of book A just to get the variant of book B. I know there was a whole thing where you had to get I think it was a Spider-Man variant. You had to order double the amount of copies of Wolverine you ordered the month before, and all kinds of crazy things like that. So again, with Kickstarter, at least you get the books. You get what you want. But I was wondering if Danny experiences that. And also, what are with these DC variants? I mean, does anybody buy DC comics?
Yeah.
The variants are just these just almost like a splash of art with a small title on it. And sometimes the art is worse than the regular cover. It's like, does anybody want that? I don't understand that. I mean, I like my logo on my book. That's just me, I guess.
Danny, let us know what you think. Let us know your comments.
Danny left. It's all good.
Danny didn't leave. Did he?
Who knows?
All right. Hold on. I'm doing a shout out on my Instagram that we need some backers for Little Z. See if we can help over there. All right. Before I do the next one, I'm going to do, let's see if Neverland's got their goal.
Yeah.
See how Neverland's doing. See if Pan has brought us a little support, or Tiger Lily in this case, since it's a Tiger Lily centric issue. We have hit our goal. I promised you 3699, and you with 155.
You
we are
did it.
3714 and 155. Congratulations!
Nice.
So we can mark another one
Thank you,
off,
thank
which is great. Danny has a response. Incentives are tough. We went from being a small store to a big store pretty quick, so that's allowed us to reach those higher numbers, but it's tough.
Yeah. It's complicated too.
Did Amazing Spider-Man 1, did great. Did Hulk 6, did terrible.
There you go.
6, yeah.
200 of each. Oh my gosh. Had to eat
Also,
200 copies of that.
I do have a retailer tier on there that you can get both issue 1 and 2 at an extremely discounted rate for retailers. It's actually lower than I normally do for retailers. So,
All right, Danny, if you want to check that out, Neverland has it. One of the good things about Danny and the Collective is they're very. Have you ever been to the store, Martin?
No, I've never been to his store.
All right, so we're going to have to get you in one of the.
We went to
sign-
some store together, but I don't think it was that one.
No, we've gone to Kingdom. You've done Kingdom with me.
Yeah.
So the Collective is very indie friendly. They're in Orlando. They have a whole section called the Indie Initiative, which is a bunch of Kickstarter comics that they purchase and they put on their shelf and they try to support and do events. We're doing an event on the 27th for Cthulhu Invades for all that. But we do stuff all the time. Probably once a month they have some creator in. And Martin, for you, for Diamond releases, they'll let you come in on a Wednesday. Like if you have a book come out, they'll order it. You can come in on that Wednesday and sign your book for the day, which is cool.
I have put my Diamond stuff on hold again because of this printing shortage. I couldn't hit my deadline because they were failing to ship the books on time. It was hopefully by next year this will all be behind us.
Yeah. All right. So let's see where you're at.
I'm right here.
Well, let's see if you made any money. Have things increased? I promised you 940 with 33 backers. Let's see if we made it yet. Or we're gonna have to keep talking to people.
I don't like self promotion. Let's talk about other stuff.
No, we got to do that. All right. So we haven't moved. Well, you moved a little bit when we started. I got to check. Daniel, if you're still watching, this is the one.
I'll pull it up.
But give us another quick pitch while we got it up here because I'm going to share it out.
Oh, the elevator pitch for this book is the story of a superpowered mental patient who's on a quest to find out his true identity. It's a story about losing your faith and trying to find it again. It's written by myself, Zach Bassett, and James Wynot. It was actually James's original concept. When they brought it to me, issue 1 was about halfway finished, and they didn't know what to do with it. So Zach and I kind of mapped out the rest of the series and went from there.
I love. So is this a new image? This collector's box thing?
The cover box, yeah. For some reason, James decided to draw this cover, and we were going to use it for a trade, but then Zach said, "Wait, this would make a great image for a box." So here we are.
Yeah, no, I like that image a lot.
It's new, so we figured it was a good opportunity to put it on something, and so that it's going to go on the box.
Yeah, I like
It
that.
might still go on the cover of the trade too. I don't know yet, but I think we're going to commission something new for the trade next year.
But we will get on that. We're gonna keep pushing that down, kicking that can. We'll come
I
back.
just like talking comics, man. I don't care about this, whatever.
Well, goal is to sell comics and to get people interested in comics. That's the goal. And if we can sell some, we're going to do that. So we're going to look at Braden, see if Braden has made all the monies yet.
Sweet.
Let's see. So Braden, I promised you 250 with 109 backers.
109?
And you're doing great, man. Congratulations. I had to mark you off my list of accomplishments. It's clearly I did this right here. Let me show you. Let me solo me for a minute.
Maybe.
Yeah, hold on. See, the problem is I put all them on one side and I've X'd them out, and then our side has not. So clearly one side of the paper was superior. Maybe if I fold it like origami, it'll work. If I rip it and like fold it. What do you guys think? No, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, why not? Well, it's all about the illusion.
It can't hurt, right? And then I guess we're going to check. Let's see where Heather's book is. This book is basically, if it doesn't fund, I get a divorce. So
Thank God you're almost done.
yeah, imagine it goes the other way, like it drops really quick. It's like, great.
It would be funny if we all dropped our pledges at once.
So I need one more pledge, but we've got that retail tier. Thank you, Danny. So I promised myself 84. We're at 83. Share that out and do some stuff. But yeah, clearly the left side of the paper was the best side. So I'm going to fix that real quick and fold this sideways and get this on the left and see what we can do and see if that helps.
So I just made a retail tier, first one ever. Hopefully I did it correct. I just copied your wife's murder, and I did 8 copies.
Time or two.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah.
I normally
That's
do 25 as well.
Danny, if you need copies of Nobody, I also have I put another retail tier on there that gives you 10 copies of Nobody, 10 copies of Outwash, and 10 copies of Sever if you needed more Sever.
Nice. All right.
I have tons of books. If you want me to send you some, I'll send you some.
All
I
right.
literally have boxes in the corner.
So it has been an hour. So if anybody had to go for whatever reason, you guys are more than welcome to. I'm going to still be promoting these books, Little Z, From Blood, and Pup Van Winkle, and I'm going to be hanging out, asking questions, doing some stuff. But if anybody needed to leave, I wanted to give you out.
Okay, well,
Not
being
yet.
the last one here and the first to go,
All
I want
right.
to thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. I know you had the other.
And if you guys get me links, I'll totally get you guys on my next update.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll make sure you do that. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Brandon.
Braden.
Anybody else?
I'm here for a
So-
little bit longer.
I'm probably going to skip out because I have a 4-week-old that's
I hear
probably
you.
going to wake me up like 5 times tonight. So I am going to go try to sleep for 2 hours.
Do it, brother. Do it, brother. I loved your picture today with that for me. Brian, like I
Thanks.
said, you can come if you just send us a link. We'll get you right on here.
Actually, Travis, can I just step away for 1 second? We're having some issues with our upstairs AC. And I'll be right back in like 3 minutes.
Do your thing. Do your thing. But thank you, Caleb. Do you want to give one more pitch?
Thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot, Travis. Thanks for doing these things. It always means a lot to see all these creators' projects and everything going on. I know we've been working on the groups, trying to help each other keep promoting each other's books, and I know I helped create that one Facebook group, and I think it's everybody's kind of been helping each other out with that, and I'm glad that to see that it actually has been semi-successful. So at least the first time we did it, everybody that was in that group, I think, funded their campaigns. So I felt like, well, maybe something's working here. So, but
yeah, I think those things are tough. You get groups, you get people with different thoughts, and eventually people, you grow too big. Eventually, people aren't going to like each other and stuff like that. But the core of it is promoting and getting this. And we, adding more, we're now doing games in this group and all sorts of cool stuff. So I think it's awesome. And if anybody wants to know about the group, it's just a group that Caleb put together to help support people's campaigns and share them out.
Yeah, it's just basically a Facebook group, and you can join the chat and leave it whenever you want. It gets kind of crazy sometimes because people be talking about whatever, and you'll get a million messages if you have the notifications on. But it's actually been really beneficial in multiple ways for the last 2 campaigns I've done. So if you're interested in something like that, just reach out, and I can drop you an invite, and you can check out what it's all about. So
Nice.
cool. Yeah,
Well,
thanks.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. Talk to you guys later. Nice to meet y'all.
All right.
Then there were 4.
Then they were free. Well, maybe Silverback will come join us. I'd love to talk about Kara Prime. It looks great. It's got Jonathan Hendricks, one of my favorite writers right now. His book that he just announced, that Nightmare book, looks fantastic from Black Box. I don't know if you guys saw it. Looks really, really good. I'm super excited about it. I love seeing creators succeed in our community. Love seeing that.
So Josh updated the Kickstarter. So we have our last reward tier that we unlocked, and it's called Sketchy Deal. So it's limited to 4. It's a sketch cover, which I've never done on any Kickstarter before. And Josh will draw whoever gets that reward tier, something mittens related.
That's cool.
It's $125 or more. So, but yeah, that's the highest tier that we got. And if there's any other stores, we do have that retail tier adjustment.
For the next 20 hours, you can get a retail tier. For the next 20
Yeah.
hours, you can get you on there. Mr. Silverbacks, look at him, all dressed up. He's got a fancy mic. He's also never mind. I had the collective shirt on earlier and I took it off for the Orange County. But he's got the collective shirt.
I lost a lot of weight, so now this shirt's really baggy, and I just feel comfortable in it.
Are you losing weight for a part or just because of life?
I'm losing. No, the divorce doesn't matter. Fuck that. I ain't
Okay,
worried
all
about
right, fair enough. I had to ask.
But no, so I switched. I used to eat rice every day for lunch,
Okay.
and I substitute cauliflower rice or rice cauliflower, and it is like a quarter of the calories and almost zero carbs. And so even though I haven't picked up exercising or anything, I just changed from rice to cauliflower rice, and I've lost like 25 pounds in 2 months.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy. That's good.
That's awesome.
I mean, it helps. The fatter you are, the easier that shit will come off. So,
If they made cauliflower Coke, I would be down with that. But this is my
yeah,
Huh.
yeah. This is a Danny Morales special.
Danny Morales special. All right, so let me bring up your stuff. Tell
Oh,
us
you don't have to. I just came to hang out, man.
Dude, no, we're here to talk about Kickstarters. You have a Kickstarter. You
I-
and Martin are the worst. You're like, I don't want to talk about my stuff. Yes, you got to talk about your stuff.
I don't even know why I do crowdfunding. Like, it's such a pain in the ass. And then for me, all it does is it makes me feel like I'm just spinning my tires. Like, why the fuck am I even bothering doing this? Because in my mind, people care about the shit that I'm putting together. But then when I do a Kickstarter, I don't feel that same feeling. And
Camaraderie.
I don't want to hold it personal to anybody because, times are hard. I get it.
Right?
But I'm just, so it's just, I don't know what the right formula is. I try to include everybody. Like, I try to do all this cool, inclusive shit. And nobody, like, they're just like, well, you know what? Thanks, man. That was fun. And then they peace out. I just don't get it.
Comics will break your heart. That's what I heard from a man who's way wiser than me.
No, I get it. And you know what? Like, so with all honesty, like I thought the idea of like Marvel Comics Presents, like
Right.
when you bought Marvel Comics Presents, it may not be attached to the real shit or whatever. It's just like these cool little stories, and they always have like different creative teams.
Right.
And that's what I wanted Carrot Prime Presents. Like, I wanted to work with you. I wanted to work with Jonathan. I want to work with all these people. And then we just do one issue where you fuck around and do whatever you want. We just have to make sure that it stays in the same continuity. I thought that would be appealing to readers to be like, oh, well, let's see what so-and-so's version of this character looks like. Or I never would have, it's not a heavy investment. You can buy issue 3 and you can take a shit with issue 1 and 2. It doesn't matter. And I guess I'm not real big on telling everybody how great I am. And that's part of what's needed. And I
Right.
I don't have that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I think the salesmanship is part of the Kickstarter thing, but I will tell you, I can give you some advice right now on this Kickstarter to get you backers like that. Can I give you some advice?
No, yeah, dude, I'm all, yeah.
So if you promote this Kickstarter in all your other campaigns that you've done, even the ones that failed.
Oh, I did. You talking about sending
No, I
emails
just
to the
looked.
people?
I just looked. Your biggest campaign, it wasn't there.
No. I send an email to all
No,
the
don't
backers.
send an email.
Put it in the updates. Put it in the
Do an
updates.
update.
It is
Do
in
an
the
update
update.
on
I
the old
email-
campaigns.
I updated
You just-
everybody.
No, you got to do it. Like I look here, the last call for the free PDF. You didn't update. Like this is your biggest campaign, and it wasn't message. If you put a message there, and I promise you, it'll get you 5 to 10 backers if you do it on all your campaigns.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I thought I did it. I did it for issue 1 and 2. Like, if you go to my last
Well,
campaign,
okay.
like there should be an update on there. Like, that's the thing. I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah. You got to do it on your big. Obviously, your bigger campaigns are going to be more of an impact. Your link doesn't work. That's the other thing, man. You got to make sure your link works.
My link to what?
A Kickstarter. I can't click on it. See, I'd have to copy and paste. So if I'm on my phone, that's going to be a pain in the ass, and I'm going to ignore it.
I can't see what the fuck you're talking about.
Right here is your link. See it?
I don't see shit.
Oh boy.
No, I don't see it.
Hold on. It's not sharing the right page. Hold on. Let me show you.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Hi, Enrique. You're a little late, but hello, welcome.
No, I just wanted to drop in real quick because I've been working some stuff and drop in for a moment.
Oh, I'm getting all shiny. My air conditioner's been out for a day and a half.
All right.
I'm having trouble with mine too, man.
So you see this?
Yeah.
Ryan? It's not clickable. So if I'm
Oh,
clicking
yeah.
on it, it's not opening.
Oh, well, that is some bullshit then. Like,
If I copied and pasted, it would be okay. But if I'm on my phone, that's going to be a pain in the butt, right?
You do the update. You have to right click and hit the link button and add it as a link.
Oh. Yeah, that'll fucking do it.
Do the most eye-catching image. That's a good one. Love the military spotlight. Actually, I love that too. I thought that was a good catch on your campaign, by the way.
I thought that was different, you know. Like I don't run around carrying my fucking American flag or anything, but I thought it was cool that maybe
I do.
there's an extra guy that says I'll support people that serve the country. So I'm like, hey, well, send some of that shit my way.
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Veteran-owned run comic, thing. But you got a backer since you've been here, so that's
I
good.
did. Look at that. We're killing it. But no, like I didn't. I just came on here to bullshit with other people. Like you guys were talking, the Ultimate Fallout bullshit, and like that was their exclusive that they did last year. It was an exclusive for the reprint. That
Right.
when you do Marvel Comics, you have to order a minimum of 3,000. And even though they had Clayton Crane on the cover, they had like 1,000 left over.
Right.
So they brought them to C2E2 and just slapped that acetate on with 2 extra staples. And I think the 2 extra staples is where people got mad that CGC was still grading it with a blue label instead of a green label because it wasn't from the manufacturer the way it was intended.
Right.
I don't think they realized it at the time. I'm hoping CGC didn't realize it. They weren't in on this,
Yeah, but that's what that's what everyone's all fucking up in arms about. And it doesn't help when they have misspelled shit on it, and when the colors of the flag are backwards. Like that's kind of like a pay attention kind of thing.
Right. I agree with you. Well, tell us about your book. I know that you don't want to promote it, but tell us
All
about
right, well,
Jonathan.
so it's just a world where shit happens, and each comic book focuses on a different creative team and a different character. And in this one, we have issue 3 that's written by Jay, and her lead character is Zaya. So this is the first non-Kara Prime character that's coming in to visit and then going to go back to her own universe because she's already got like 4 issues of her own comic series. And since I met Jay at a show and she's a veteran, and I was like, well, let's do something together. And so this was me just trying to say, hey, let's do something. And maybe the 2 people that follow what I'm doing can jump over and follow Zaya and all the other stuff that you've got going on. So it was just me really fucking trying to help someone else out and then trying to figure out a way to incorporate that into what I was doing. And so issue 4 is Loggerhead versus Arctica, which was supposed to be my follow-up to Bloody Bayou when Bloody Bayou came out. But a lot of things happened between now and then now. It's because that comic's been done for probably about a year, maybe 18 months. So we're finally getting the more Loggerhead action, so I can like see.
Nice.
Look, see this. Oh yeah, so the 3D models. That's one of the things that not a lot of people have. You can go to the add-ons. Go to the add-ons right there. Look at that. You can get these 2 little minis. You can get the 3D models. And
Let me make it big, brother. Let me make it big.
You can make your own. You can print your own minis and print them out. Like I thought that was cool. I paid a shitload of money for that. But
Hey, dude, throw some HeroClix stats on that. We'll play.
Right.
yeah, well, yeah, I know. There's all kinds of great shit you can do if you've got money. Like, oh, look at this. I got a fucking action figure, right? Like that's cool.
What did that put you back? Jeez,
Yeah,
Louise.
I don't want to fucking talk about it. in order for me to even come close to making my money back, I've got to charge way more than anyone's going to spend on a damn action figure.
Right.
So it's I'm holding my breath that Tampon Man and Applicator Boy are going to be my saving grace.
I mean, with those names, that's a long saving grace.
Yeah, I figure the Adult Swim market is juvenile enough. You know, I don't have a titty book. Well,
Sure.
I mean, so if we're going to be honest, like if you have a titty book, you're going to be okay. So I wanted to have my own like adult. You know, why am I so big on the thing?
Well, you don't like yourself so big?
No.
Why? You're
So
the big guy. You're talking.
So-
Wendy has a sensitive question. Go ahead and ask that, Wendy. I want to see what that is.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, but go ahead. Continue. You were talking about titties.
me? Oh yeah.
Somebody
So
was.
I went with a friend of mine had made these characters up like in '96,
Right?
and he like sold me the rights. I have the rights to them and everything, and so now it's just a fun pun-based thing with cool names. Tampon Man, Applicator Boy. They're fighting the Yeast Master. Like there's all kinds of cool shit, right? And then my plan is to try to get some of that Do You Poo money and then just do variant covers all over the place. Like every time I go to a show, I got this cool homage, and I got that cool homage, and I got that cool homage. And if you're an artist, you can say, hey, Brian, I'd like to do my own cover for Tampon Man and Applicator Boy. And then that's X amount of dollars, and you get 25 issues to go sell at your table and do whatever you want. So I want to have something that can keep me paid that way and still be 100% mine, which I don't quite feel that the Do You Poo thing, like that's very much Deadpool and Pooh Bear. So Tampon Man Applicator Boy is not ripping on anything.
Right.
But who knows? It could fall flat on its face. But I think that might be what pulls all my comic book money out of the negative area.
If you can't prove it, I mean, it's a moot point.
All right.
What's
so
that?
this is a question. If you suspect that someone has used another artist's art and tried to pass it off as their own, but you can't find the image to prove it, how do you feel you should handle the situation? Yeah, if you can't prove it, I agree with Martin. You got to be able to prove it. Martin showed me one once that I didn't know. I'm not going to blast the guy, but Martin was like, hey, look. I was like, oh, shit.
Wait,
That was
somebody
a pretty famous image, dude. It wasn't like some.
somebody used somebody else's artwork, or they just copied someone else's artwork and didn't give them credit.
Traced is probably
Oh,
Yeah, everything is different. Yeah. Can I say something about that?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, since I'm late to the party here. About that, there was a few years ago. I'm not gonna say the individual's name, but over here in this where I live, there was this one guy that he would put out all these different artwork all the time, saying, "Oh, I just did this one," and he would go and say, "Oh, this is an homage to Jim Lee, or this is my homage to whichever other artist." But you can tell they're tracings, you know. When you do homages, like when I do an homage, like I did for a sketch cover, which was of the Punisher #1, but you can tell it's my style. You know, I followed what Mike Zeck did, but you can tell it's my style. But this guy's style was constantly changing. He would tell, please, you know, give me a break. And there was one he actually gave me to ink, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going like, man, this guy's really good. But then I noticed that it was for book. And he had taken 2 images from online and flipped them, and then put them together and put them back, and he traced it over. I was like, Okay, well that's not cool. So I refused to continue to do the work because I was like, no, because I don't want to be somebody else is going to find it and go say, look, you're trying to copy this stuff. I'm not, man. I'm not doing that. So it's got to be very careful with that kind of stuff. Now, for example, in my personal experience, and now again, this is like you never know. Like in 2018, a buddy of mine, we both worked on Violator in his clown form for a pinup for a poster, and we did it. And he came up with the idea that I did the drawing, I did the inking, and then I had somebody color it, DC Alonso. That was in 2018. At a show recently, I had somebody come up to me with a Spawn cover, saying, "Oh, could you sign this for me, please?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's my cover, my print, to the point that I was like, "What?" It's all like it's the artist's interpretation of it, but I'm thinking, what is it? So I actually photoshopped it and put it on top of mine. Even the indication of the eye that I squinted it a little more was very, very close. And people say, "Oh, you know, like I'm not going to go to McFarlane and say, you motherfucker, you know, look what you did." You know, I can't. Now, could that have been something that this artist had seen my work at some place, and when somebody told him, "Hey, I need you to do a cover of the clown for Spawn," could it have been in the back of his head, and he just came in and just decided with no malice and all? Absolutely could have happened. Absolutely could have happened. But because it didn't have the same background and everything, but it was really, really similar. I just found it funny when I got somebody coming to me to sign something, like, where did this come from? So how can you go and prove that? You know, you do Google Images. You can like try to look for it through there, you know, sometimes.
Right.
And that's what I did for this other guy. I actually did the Google image of those that I thought were actually from other people. Like he had one version that he's like, "Oh, this is my Jim Lee homage," and I found it. It was actually an old sketch that he had done, and he had taken Wonder Woman from one side, he took Batman from another one of his, and put them all together. I'm like, really? And for you, and I mean, this individual was adored by everybody. So when I actually tried to call him out once, and I actually had people go old MAGA on me. Like, how dare you tell this person he's so pure, he's so good, he's so good. He donates all his money to charity. And I'm like, really? Where's the checks? Has he ever shown you when you give it to anybody? But anyway, the point is that you will get caught. More times than not, you will get.
Let me take this opportunity to introduce you to my new character, Cosmic Man. It's a Jim Lee homage cover. It's going to be out next on my next Kickstarter, so look for this. It's Cosmic Man. It's not Superman. It's Cosmic Man, Jim Lee homage right here.
I'm excited about it. Greg, you got to go. Thanks for stopping by. Mittens has been doing great.
Looking forward to Mittens, dude. I really am excited about that book.
$5,090 and 218 backers. That's my goal to beat because I've got a dog, and everyone knows that dogs are better than cats.
I agree.
We have dogs too. I like dogs more than cats too. So.
I got 2 dogs, so I'm a dog.
Challenge there. I think that's a challenge.
I'm just saying. But let me show a new Kickstarter that my friend here, even though he's just popping by. But you can take off, Greg, if you want. If you want to say goodbye, tell people where to find it for the next 20 hours.
Kickstarter.
Search Mittens
Space Pilot.
Kickstarter.
Yeah. You can search Mittens Space Pilot. We do have a retail tier. If you are a store, don't just get 8 copies because you want 8 copies. And there's also a sketch cover tier, which we just unlocked, which was our last stretch goal. So that's cool.
Nice.
Cool. I'll have to get one of those then. I'm gonna have to up my backing.
Oh, nice.
And that's Mittens right there.
Yeah.
218. It's doing great. Mittens, check it out. But thanks for stopping by, Greg. I was glad that you had a night that you can make it. I know you normally work on these nights.
Yeah, I usually do. So.
Carl says it's up, bitches. He is right. We are probably bitches. Carl Merlin.
Actually, I see Graven's back. Were you at MegaCon the year that the Rob Granito thing went down, Travis?
I don't remember that, so probably not, but maybe.
it was the last time Ethan Van Sciver and Mark Waid teamed up together to go take that guy down at MegaCon.
I've heard about it. I don't know if you told me about it or Brendan from the collective told me about it because he was from Coliseum. But somebody told me about it.
I think Raven was probably at that MegaCon too. That's what made me think of it.
So these are the boobs that Silverback's talking about, right?
I mean, it's not those particular boobs, but
Hey, let's be honest. It's like I got dragged into this one. It was a lot of
that
fun.
might be what I'm talking about.
Yeah, right. I think this is what you're talking about.
Hey, this is the after dark version of Sheath Comics. This is Ben Worrell's baby, and he asked me to do the inkings on one of the covers. And as you can see already, it just got funded a little while ago. My cover is cover I, and of course, like every other Kickstarter in the world, we have a Steph Wilson.
Right.
Because it cannot be a Kickstarter without Steph on it,
So you did this. Okay.
That's my baby. Yeah, I did that one with the booty shot because the wife was like, no nudity. So I'm sorry. But of course, Steph, that's no problem with that. So now the thing is, this character is like, Ben and I spoke about this about a few months ago when we was doing one of my shows of the Inking with Kike, and he talked about it because she is this character who has this huge gun which fires blades. All right, so it's like, imagine like Dark's one of those creatures from Final Fantasy bosses, or
Right.
Dark Souls with these incredible weapons, and she needs magic to actually hold it up because it's bigger than her, and she goes through these different transformations. Every time she beats one of these kaijus, she acquires some of its powers. So that's why you see her popping out of her uniform in that scene. Is because she's changing into the new form that she has. So the first 6 covers are actually the different forms she takes over the series. It's like I believe it's going to be like a 6-issue series. So every time these are the different versions of how she's going to look. So those first 6 covers are showing the evolution of her uniform based off, and her personality based off of the creature she is fighting and has defeated. So mine is kind of like more like, hey, let's have a nice little shot here. That's more from the beginning of the book, as well as Steph's. So
Right.
the artist for that is Stephen Puluwa. Also he's from the Midwest, West Coast, over in Colorado as well. So we got East and West working here. So Ben and I have done some stuff before. We've done some prints for the Star Wars stuff like Ashoka and Ben Kenobi. So this is actually the first time he actually brought me into one of his projects. I was really stoked about it. So now we got stretch goals we have to figure out, because he got funding so quickly. We did it within the week. Like our buddy over here says, if you got boobies up, chances are.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because it's not overtly like other ones you see out there, but it is. Ben has a really cool style of his writing. Is a lot of tongue-in-cheek kind of stuff. The book is really a lot of fun to read. It's not like overtly out there, it's like some of the stuff. But he's done the Hate Punch 2 Kickstarter. That was the previous one to this, which is basically an homage to the movies of the 80s of action films and Van Damme and Chuck Norris kind of stuff. And Hate Punch 2, there was never Hate Punch 1. It was just like a bad sequel that came out of nowhere. And that did really well. But for me, this is actually pretty cool, because this is now actually the 3rd highest backed project I've worked on. I worked on 2 anthologies which had almost 400 each of them. So this was at 165, I think, 66. So it's pretty good. So I'm really glad to be part of this one. And I think and this weekend he'll be at Colorado Springs Comic-Con. So he's hoping to really push it over a good threshold now when he goes out there and shows off the stuff. So
That's an interesting
copies of mine of the book I'm going to be doing print of my cover eventually. So anybody on the East Coast, you'll be able to grab one of those on one of my shows eventually.
Nice. How do you feel about that when you do shows, Brian? Do you sell a lot of prints at shows? You sell a lot of your covers. What do you sell at your shows when you do stuff as an artist?
Man, I don't have the magic fucking formula because I want to go to these shows and I want to be Brian creator guy.
Right.
So I don't go there with a huge wall of prints. Like I don't do that. Although I can draw mildly well, I could draw every character that you wanted and I could have it up there. But I only go there with 10 prints. Like you could pick from these 10, or you can check out all these cool fucking comic books that I worked on.
Right.
And they're like, oh, well, you don't have any Vampirella? No. All right, I'm out. So at the last show I did last weekend, I said, fuck creator Brian. Like, I'm going to have to give into it, and I'm going to have to, if I want to be able to pay rent, I have to be fan art guy.
Right.
Because this is my only job. And comic books are making it really, really tough for me. And then the variant cover game is drying up because there's no quality control. Anybody that has a crayon can do a fucking variant cover. And these stores are saying, hey, my friend Bill can draw. And Bill gets on there with a fucking crayon and does this cover for an image book and says, I'm an image artist, because he drew a fucking crayon book for his buddy's store. No wonder the variant game is taking a shit on itself, because the retailers are quick to say, we got our own retail cover. And they sell 10 copies while it just poisons the well for everybody else to get into the variant cover. Like I'm trying to go somewhere. I'm not trying to fucking just say, look at me, boss, I did it. Like, that's not what I'm here for. And so I think quality control, and part of the blame is the retailers just saying yes to their friends.
Sure.
Then the next level up is these fucking publishers that are okaying it. Like, there needs to be some sort of quality control that says, dude, that's not up to our standards. I understand Billy Bob is your fucking buddy, but that doesn't meet our standards.
Right.
But the publishers want the money because that's guaranteed money. They're like, hey, that guy paid for 500 copies of this comic book, and we don't have to worry about selling them. He's going to be stuck with them, so let's put that crayon drawing on the fucking cover. So the blame falls on both of those people.
Oh, it falls on more than that, if you ask me.
Well, it's not
funny.
the artist. It's not the artist, because they're only as good as they are.
I understand.
So it's not the artist's fault. It's the lack of there's no standards. So people like
it's
me
funny.
that I think are mildly talented, just like fuck variant cover artists, man. Fuck those guys. So whatever.
It's
All right,
funny.
you got
When I got into this business, everybody was, because Diamond was the only game in town. Everybody's like, Diamond's the gatekeeper. They're holding us back. We can't get our indie books out there. And now we're at that point. We could use a little gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Going, no, you can't do that.
Pendulum too far the other way.
Exactly.
Well, and I try to explain to artists, and I try not to be mean, but when they're like, all right, I need this, and they're like, my rate is like $700. I was like, you understand that I could buy a pro who's a friend of mine for $300.
Yeah.
The book, and you're trying to make it $700. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to undersay. It's not saying you're worth $700, but I know that guy's going to sell me books. I can't guarantee that for you, and I'm not going to invest that when I can pay half his amount to somebody else.
That guy, the $700 guy, is probably because his fucking local retail shop gassed him up, making him think that he's the hot shit.
It's weird. And, he's right. I think that and no digs to anybody's talent level, because everybody's trying to do the best they can and hopefully get better. But it does seem that we seem to be celebrating mediocrity a little more than we should in this business. We seem to be settling and just going, well, he's a friend or he's an indie guy, so it's okay that he only draws 2 fingers on each hand because he doesn't know how to draw hands. We let these things slide through without somebody going, that's not quite up to snuff. And it's like, because nobody wants to be the guy that tells them it's not up to snuff.
But it's also hard on the indie level Travis, let's say Travis has a best friend, and his best friend is like, dude, I know you got a Kickstarter coming up, and I did this, and check it out. I'll give it to you to use for a cover. And let's say it's Travis is like, oh, thanks, man. Like that's nice of you to do that. But Travis on the inside could be like, yo, motherfucker, if I put this on a cover, but then that's your friend. Like you all went to middle school together. What are you gonna do? Take a shit in his face?
He does that to me all the time.
What
That's
you
why.
do is you make an art gallery on the inside of the book and say, hey, I put your shit on the inside of the book where there's an art gallery. That's what I did for you.
After the letters page.
All right, so I want a quick announcement real quick because I noticed this because I've been clicking around. Chris, you
Yeah.
hit your goal?
I hit my goal. Your goal that you made for me today. Yeah.
You're at 666.
Oh, Mark of the Beast. Oh, no.
Sign of the devil. Yeah, the mark of the beast there. I know.
At 22. So
But I made the 22 backers that you
you
said.
got your 22 backers, so I got your promise. I'm still working on Martin.
Don't worry about me. I don't care.
I care. I'm still working on my wife, so I don't get a divorce.
Actually, Travis, did you pick up your books at your LCS today?
Yeah.
Did you get this thing?
Let me see.
It's that Frank Miller ash. First off, people call these ash cans. That's a lie. An ash can
I
is half
actually
the
didn't even see it. I would have picked it up, but I didn't
size.
see it.
Got 5 each. And it's pretty awesome looking on the inside, man. But this bothers me. They call this an ash can. An ash can is technically half the size of this. This is not an ash can. This is a comic book. I don't understand where that comes from.
Just because it's in black and white, they're thinking it's an ash can.
Actually, it's not. The back half, it's in color, which is weird. Because they had to print the whole thing isn't printed in color, even though the front half's black and white.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've listened to a few interviews with Frank Miller.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm not excited about Sin City in the Old West. I don't know why. I feel like it should be, but
Well, this has the Ronin book 2 in it, and the art is shockingly good.
right.
I mean, it's
No, it was a big week this week. It was expensive for me.
tell me about it. Tell me about it.
It was a rough week. I spent a lot, but yeah, I think that's one of the bigger problems, and I think that's what's one of the things with Kickstarter. Chris, yeah, you can absolutely take off. Give it one more push, real quick. Sorry.
Little Z about a guy that married a sheriff's deputy that marries the love of his life, Lisa, who happens to have a preteen daughter as a zombie. And then Mr. Evil runs the town 12 years after the zombie apocalypse. He works for Mr. Evil as a zombie hunter, but then he has the daughter at home that is also a zombie, so he's conflicted between that. So it's a good old fun little horror comedy that started out as a TV pilot.
And you can see the TV pilot if you back the project, or is that its own tier, or how does that work?
It is its own tier on there at the moment. I haven't released it out yet into the world yet.
We could watch the trailer real quick if you guys want. It's how long is the trailer?
It's 2 minute 59.
That's not bad.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, let's watch it real quick.
All right, still got it.
Where you going, babe?
We're hiding a young zombie. You know, we could lose everything.
We keep you fit, and from now on, you're going to take a special class every week so that you stay here. I want to.
Hi, I'm Jack.
And I'm Jill, and we're with the Child Protective Services.
We're here because some teachers have noticed some bruises on Lily.
Great. Could you just excuse me for just a moment? Scott, could you meet me in the kitchen, please, sweetie? Now? Aren't you a cutie? We know you're a son. Age me, but the point is, now we can stay a family. Shit! Who is it?
It's the Jacksons.
We'll get rid of them.
You guys are acting weird. Not having any young Z's in here, are you?
This might be blonde. This back hair.
On sheephead.
Both of them.
Yeah. Just get out of here.
But I won't eat you. I promise.
There you go. Well,
All
thank you.
right. Thank you, Travis, for having me again. I appreciate it. Thank you for everybody out there that backed me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, look forward to seeing that pilot. It's and we're going to be airing it at the Space Coast Comic Con, right? At the,
Yes.
no, the Krampus.
Krampus,
Right?
KrampusCon. It will be there. Yeah, it's in the festival there.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So it was great meeting everybody. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good one. Have good flights tomorrow. Stay
Thanks,
safe.
sir. Appreciate it.
All right.
And there were 4 again? How does that work?
There's 4 again. It's just the way it works. Just the way it works. People come on. They hang. So what's next, Martin? What's the next? Is it Arthur next? Arthur
Yep, the
2?
book's almost finished. Yep. The Carlos Tron. He got a little lag getting some pages done. That's why we slipped this other Kickstarter in between. But yeah, it's coming along good. It's the story I want to tell. I'm having a good time with it, which is a rarity in comics for me. So I'm enjoying myself again. So that's why I've embraced that project, maybe a little more than some of the others, because I'm just enjoying it. Enjoying making comics again, as opposed to selling them.
Right. And both have their merits, but yeah, I get you. I've been
Part of this one.
What? Yes, Father.
My screen's frozen.
Norman Spike Lisa, who happens to have a 18 daughter as a zombie. Evil.
Hold on. All
I
right.
think the video is still playing on that one.
It was me. I was trying to show you guys something, but I'm gonna have to get it another way. I just got my the final trade dress for my Band of Bards book, so I was just gonna show you guys real quick.
Speaking of trade dress, when are we getting the trade for Broke Down?
It's on the list. We've been waiting on a couple of stories, and just all these other things have come up. It's been really tough. I want to add some more content, which is tough. We got Jonathan doing the story and a few other people doing stories in it, so that's been tough. Adding those things and getting them colored, and just Granite State Punk did really, really well. I'm very, very proud of it. We got the scout deal with that with Black Caravan, so I wanted to get a second issue of that out, so I kind of bumped that up the timeline. But probably the end of the year, probably the last Kickstarter will be that. And then the wife finished her book, so that was more important than everything, Martin.
Of course, without a doubt, yeah.
And as you said, it's the best book we've done. So I mean, it's got a dog.
It appeals to me, so
it appeals to you. But yeah, so that's what's been going on with that. And then I got the deal with the cover I'm going to show you guys in a second to do the Band of Bards book. That is not that is a book from them. So they paid for it. They paid for production and everything. So that's been.
So did you have to produce it or just write it and walk away from it?
I'm producing it with my team, but they paid for production. So kind of a middle in between, and I do own it, which is cool. I still own it, which is cool. But basically, I pitched to their anthology, and they said they really want to do a full series with it. And we talked about budget, and I was like, all right, we can do two issues on that. So that's what we're doing. And that's the full cover with trade dresses. It's kind of anime style, which is cool. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Oh, that's their logo at the bottom. In the bottom.
Yeah. Here, I'll put back. Yeah, a Band of Bards. It's kind of hard to make out.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't know what that was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to make out in this.
Put a drop shadow on it or something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I just got that that's a mock of the logo. So we're excited about that. That'll be in November's preview, so that'll be January and February.
That's biblical fiction, right?
It is biblical, yes. Yeah.
But it's your own story. It's not. Like
Yeah. It's basically what happened with the coins of Judas in this storyline when he threw them away. Homeless kids all grabbed them like on the street, and they all became possessed demons of some sort. And there's 30 of them that people are hunting down.
Well, let me ask you. Just if you don't mind, it seems, at least back in the 90s or the early aughts, I should say, there was a heavy stigma on any book that had any kind of religious overtone to it or any kind of Christianity to it for the most part. Do you see that as a obstacle going forward with this book, or?
No, I don't think so. I think that using religion and using religion right people don't have a problem with you using religion as long as you're not throwing it down their throat. Like Constantine uses it all the time. Sandman uses points of religion all the time. I think as long as you do it like that, it seems that nobody seems to care. Preacher, some people were mad at Preacher, but that's because he hates Catholics. But I think that if you do stuff like that, as long as but if you bend it like where you're trying to do a religious which is not what this book is. It's not like they aren't religious. The hunters of the demons aren't religious. They're just demon hunters.
So it's not like Bible Man or something.
Correct. Yeah. There's not Bible. Voodoo Nations is more of that, where it has the actual preachers and when I do some stuff. This is going to be more action anime like style, like action. It's closest thing to a superhero book I write, basically. So yeah, it's not going to have a lot of that religious stuff to it. It'll use religious mythologies, because if you study Judas specifically in the Bible, he has like each story of the different gospels. Each of them have a different ending. One of them he hung himself. One of them he went away. One of them it's a field that where they buried him. Like all these different endings, which is kind of fun.
It's a Find Your Fate Bible. Yeah.
Right.
Turn to Psalms 13 if you want to know what happens.
Choose your own adventure with what happened with Judas.
Yeah. So that could be a thing. Hold on, let me write that down. Put that in the back. Speaking of things, man, I wasn't kidding on Facebook. I've actually actively tried to get the Thunder in Paradise license.
Really?
Yeah, because I love cheesy stuff. I've actually been down the road of licenses several times, and they've always ended poorly.
Yeah.
The biggest one probably was the Orville, and
nice.
I was talking to Fuzzy Door, which is Seth MacFarlane's company, and they're like, well, we can't license it. It has to go through Fox. And then I started talking to Fox. This is before Disney bought him. And Fox goes, we don't know yet, but I should tell you, Dark Horse has an office on our lot. So,
right.
Yeah. That's about the license. Just curious. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think those things are the only license that it seems to be easy is Highlander. Like that, everyone seems to be able to make whatever they want with Highlander because probably nobody cares about it anymore but me.
I do. Only that first movie's genius. Though I talked to somebody who tried to watch it, they couldn't get past the opening sequence of that movie where he's fighting in the parking garage. And but I guess for modern eyes, it looks a little cheesy, but to me, it looks amazing.
No, Highlander blew my mind when I first saw that. When I saw that movie, because I was really into vampires, and I really needed I wanted the immortality part of it, but I needed a palate cleanser, and chopping off heads is exactly what I needed.
Well, I'll tell you what, I never saw Highlander when it was first out. A friend of mine took me to see Highlander 2, and then he apologized and said, we got to go home and watch Highlander. This was nothing like Highlander.
Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah,
that was the theatrical version, which is the absolute worst version of that movie.
Yeah, no, I was I was lucky to actually see it in the theater, because that was only out in the theater for a very limited time. And a buddy, we were in college, and we all went to see it, and we all came home. It's like there can be only one. It was great. I love. That's a great movie, actually.
Oh, I think it's one of the best. Yeah,
it holds up pretty good till to today.
Actually, I think Dynamite still has that license.
Really? I just know that in games, like there's always a Highlander card game or board game. So I know the license has got to be semi-easy to get, or there wouldn't be so many like little games.
It's expensive. I think that because you notice the gaming compared to comics, Kickstarters are there's quite the difference in how much they make. So,
so you want to take off, Mr. Lopez? You said you.
Yeah, man. It's like I just wanted to drop in to say hi to everybody and pitch a little bit about the Kickstarter that's running out.
Sure.
So like I said, we're already funded, but if anybody still wants to come in and try to grab a few of my covers, I'll appreciate it. I can't tell what the project is that's coming up for me, but today all I can say is that little after all this work I've been doing, one of my dream jobs has shown up. One of the things I really wanted to do with this individual, and now I'm going to have a chance to do something with somebody I really appreciate. It's like I feel like finally we're starting to move up a little bit here, and
congratulations, man. That's a big deal.
So it's not as going to Marvel and DC yet, something like that level, but it's like this is something I really want to be a part of, and I finally got a shot. So don't know when it's coming out. Don't know when. We're still working out I'm waiting for the details to show up. So let's see. Thank you, and Chris. And it's so I'm just right now I'm just going over the moon of that. So that's partly why I wasn't able to get in here because I was.
No issues. I'll do it for the next 3 weeks because of the Kickstarter campaign. Actually, I may have to miss one. I think I got a concert. I'm seeing the Lumineers, and I'm not sure when that is, but I'll try to do one a week. When I launch, I do these little hangouts and kind of chill, talk about comics, and see what's up.
There's another link I gave you a while ago. That's for a project I'm working on with Yi Fang. She already produced the comics in her native language, but she translated it now to English. It's a small anthology of 3 stories. It's called Butterfly Tears, and we don't have a launch date yet for that one. I'm basically the marketing manager for that, and I'm doing some of the editing, and there it is. So we're still trying to get some of the followers. I've been trying to get people to get notified and stuff like that. On my Facebook and on my Instagram, I've shown a lot of the details of the different tiers are going to be around. She's a fantastic artist in her own right. And these are 3 stories that she's very dear to her. They're all of her traditional historic heritage. So the love stories and little stuff, a little extra, like I said, 3 love stories with different twists in each of them. So hopefully, once we have a date, I'll be up and let you all know when we're launching. We're looking to probably next month. So I just am trying to get her to go get a little more of those notifications so we can have a good launch. And despite the fact that we've been putting it up a lot, hasn't moved into getting as many people in it as I would like. So I'm trying to hopefully get her up there because I would love for us to be closer to 50 when we launch it. So We'll see. All right, guys. So thanks a lot for and Silverbacks. Going to your point, I started when my first conventions. Billy Tucci told me that the minimum amount of prints you should have, or at least he told me, start with 10. And make sure they're of different things. So, like in the sense that don't make them all Marvel, for example.
Yeah. I've got like 2 wrestling.
I got to the point that I've done like 50 or 60 different prints, and obviously I've been cutting them off, and these are not selling; they're no longer being used and stuff like that. And now I'm doing these mystery packs, which I put 4 for $20 just to get rid of some of the old stuff. But now I'm just doing specifics, like for example, now that I did the Blade Shot, that cover, okay, that makes sense. I'll do a print when I have the comics out. So I can give it as an incentive. You buy the comic, with my cover, you get a print with that or a mini print with that. That much more sense. So I'm only doing like little stuff like that. But I'm in the position you're in. I tend to have too much stuff on my table, and people get confused. Is he a bang?
Hey, I heard a bang in my back. I'm gonna check that out for a second. I'll be right back.
Good. Yeah, watch the banging. So
Travis never comes back.
Yeah, he's like losers here. But so I got sometimes my setups to the point that I'm wondering that people, because I have canvas prints and mini prints, I got my books, and because as an inker, all art tends to be different in my case. So people don't know, is he a vendor? Is he an artist? So I have to put signs up like, I draw, ask me for stuff. And but for example, there's a show coming up I'm doing in September, ZapCon. I'm not taking anything with me. I'm just going to bring my pencils and my stuff and my inks and maybe a few sketch covers, but I'm not bringing all the other stuff. I'm going to give it one shot to see, can I just do it as an artist, just art. Don't bring it. I might bring the prints, but I'm not going to bring the whole shebang. Because sometimes these tables, like what show I did a show that they gave me an 8-foot table, and those are awesome because they're 8 by 2.5. And I was like, whoa! I had so I was able to really play with it, but most of the time, with 6 feet, it's like major real estate issues. You got to see, do I put this here or I put that there, and people get confused. So I feel it's like, what do you want to show off? You want to show us as a comic book guy or as an artist? So it's kind of tough, man. It's like,
well, let me ask you guys, both of the two artists. Do you travel with anybody else, or is it just you working your table?
Personally, with me, I'm usually, unless it's local, I'm travel alone. Or unless I'm going to a really cool area like Chicago, then the wife comes.
Of course, it's a vacation now. Yeah,
because it becomes a vacation, right? Or in the case of like when I did, for example, I do a lot of shows in Ohio, and when I'm in the Dayton area or Cincinnati, I'll stay with my brother. So my brother will come in and work with me on the table. But most of the time, I'm alone. I mean, I used to have my youngest come with me, but now she's got her own stuff. So I personally do it alone all the time.
If you could get somebody, because I'll tell you, when I would travel with my artists like Mike Wagner, we would go to a show like, say, Heroes Con or something, and he would just sit down, and I'd have him just start drawing anything, just start sketching, and then I would say, "Oh, Mike's an artist; he'll be happy to do a sketch for you." But his head's down, so he can't interact with the guy. That's why having that second person because if they see you drawing, they know this is a guy I can approach about.
I will sit down and draw. I'm sorry. So
go ahead.
I used to bring my ex-wife, and she would just sit there and play on her phone, so she wasn't doing any good. Because my head is down while I'm drawing.
With my artist like Mike Wagner.
Sorry, I don't know what's happening here. It's
across the time streams.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Don't cross the streams. Don't cross the streams.
I know, but I need that.
What I do sometimes is that I start drawing, or I'll be inking something, and I'm trying to make it in a way that people can see there. Other times,
if you could raise the art up, so at least you're, because once you're looking down, you start losing customers.
There are guys like George Vega. Like George, what he will do, he actually stands the whole time, and he's got this board up on the table, so he's drawing at an elevated, so people can walk by. They actually see it right there. But he's up all day. I'm going, dude, I can't do that at my age. And other people I will see, they bring their own rig, man. They bring like a nice little stent, and he's doing everything, and they're drawing there. I'm going, my God, who does that? Sean Forney. Sean, he brings a whole rig of stuff when he's a guest. I mean, like a huge area for him to be drawing.
Hard to get that in the carry-on,
And Keith Williams, he's usually next to me. He just has the little easel things we have, that I have like myself. Like, and that's where we do most of the drawing. But the things that sometimes I'll never know. I won't know. Like I did a show recently that I had nobody ask me for anything. I mean, I was like, what the hell happened? And then I did another show which was Heroes, and that was like insane. The amount of people.
You did this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the 40th anniversary. I wanted to go, but I didn't pull the trigger fast enough.
Yeah, that's the vacation one. That's another vacation. But that was fun. I mean, that one I like Saturday. I was like, are you open? Are you available? Yeah, sure. What do you want? Are you available? Yeah, you're sure. What do you want?
That's an art show. That's a comic art show. So I will say, I always tell anybody, especially if they're starting out, the two shows I recommend doing are Emerald City Comic Con and Heroes Con. Those are the two shows I've networked the most at and advanced in New York, but that was networking with previews. So that's a whole other animal. But the as far as networking the business, because Heroes, everybody's so relaxed. You can talk to anybody. And when I was at Emerald City, everybody was there and they were all just in the bar. Like everybody from IDW, Dark Horse, we were all just hanging out at the bar. So those are the two shows I definitely would say I had the best networking at. And I love Heroes Con. So.
At Heroes, I did networking with some of the independent publishers and stuff, and they got to see my stuff, and I talked to them and stuff. But I mean, at that one, I was staying at the actual hotel right next to it,
The Westin, yeah.
I just loved it. In the Westin, yeah, because you're sitting there at the bar and all of a sudden Joe Stanton is saying hi to me from this corner. Yeah,
That's right.
Like we're all, and then Ugo Smith, okay, oh, what are you doing? I'm having a drink. Oh, let's go sit down. And it's just a great atmosphere. It was just so much fun.
That's my hero story. I was sitting at the bar at the Westin. We were with a group of people. I didn't know who they were. I got up, and my friend Juan Navarro was like, "Bro, you know who that was?" I'm like, "I don't know." He goes, "That's Mike Mignola, man. Like, he doesn't put his picture in the comics. How do I know what he looks like?" You know, but that's how it is. You're just bumping elbows with everybody. And did you go to the art auction while you're at Heroes?
No, I actually had to do commission work.
Yeah.
So actually,
Dude, hey, make the money, man. Make the money.
I went up to my room and just sat there and started going. No, but the other reason is that that weekend they were still in the Stanley Cup Finals, and my Tampa Bay were in there, so I was watching those. So I said, watching the hockey, watching the hockey. So, but yeah, but for me, I got into Emerald City last year. But
I think it's this weekend, this year. So.
They were back to back with C2E2 on the West Coast. And I said, no, I can't do that. One over here, there's a good show over here, which is Terrificon in Connecticut.
I've heard good things.
Yeah. I didn't do it this year because I was hoping to get into C2E2 this year and do that. And then I didn't get into C2. And then by the time I went into Terrificon, they were sold out because they sell out immediately. I mean, immediately they're sold out. And then I go like, well, I guess I'm not doing neither of them this year, but I've added a few more shows because I've had some health issues at the beginning of the year, so I haven't been able to stack them like I'm used to. I'm used to be doing like 20 shows a year, 30 shows a year. This year, I'm like, no, we're doing like 10.
I know we still got 4 months in this year, but I'm already looking at next year for what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah. I'm already booked for Cincinnati next year, Heroes next year.
You can sign up for Heroes now.
Well, because I already spoke
while you were there. Yeah,
I was there this year, and they were, and Kayla, was it Kayla? Yeah. She was telling me, I told her, look, I really enjoyed it. You know, like, you want to come back next year? No, yeah, okay, you're down. Okay, cool.
Good for you, man.
So yeah, I'm definitely going back there again. I mean, I got into C2E2 at the end of the day because they were like, oh, look, we got tables available. You want to come? And go like, let me check. And the problem was there were no hotels by then. You know, by then it was already like I had to be really far. I said no. So next year what I'm going to do is like if I don't get into C2E2, though I don't know this. No, next year I can't do it because I'm actually invited to another show.
It's the same weekend as MegaCon next year.
Are you sure? Because it's in March.
Let me pull it up. I got my convention schedule.
C2E2 is in March 30th to April.
Something's against MegaCon.
No, that's MegaCon the same weekend.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, what is this? I mean, can we all agree to stop?
No, they can't. They don't. It's so infighting between Reed Pop and Informa.
Look at that.
You know, so it's.
Katrina says she stayed 40 minutes out for C2E2.
He hasn't said anything in a bit. Silverback, what are you working on? What do you got for covers and stuff? What are you working on?
He's got crayons. He's working on a new cover for his store.
No, at the end of the month, they released. I did a Creep Show cover. It comes out at the end of the month for pre-sale, but that's it, man. Like I don't have shit.
Who's Creep Show with? Is that IDW?
Image.
Image. Oh wow. Okay.
I'm actually shocked that she grabbed you for
5-issue series. It's a 5-issue series.
Thanks a lot for having me here, Travis. I'm sorry to go. Sorry to bother, interrupt, but I gotta go. I gotta head up. I gotta get up early tomorrow. Get back to work.
Yeah.
Just to let you all know, in the coming months, you're probably not going to see any of the projects until 2023, but I have 2 stories coming out in an anthology called Stupid Kids. I'm going to have a story coming out in Not So Fair Tales 2. I'm going to have a story coming out in another anthology called Might, Magic, and Monsters in Law. And all those will be going through Kickstarter between now. They'll start, one of them will be starting in November, the other one in December, and into next year. So and then I'm doing Horrendous, which is an anthology we do for local artists here in New Jersey. So I'm finishing that one. That story that'll be out. That's going to be out for Halloween of this year. So busy, thankfully.
Right on.
All right.
And I'll see everybody else on my next shows out there. And pleasure meeting you all guys, Martin, Travis, Silver. Have all a good night. All right.
Good night.
Rock on.
All right, so Silverback, I'm actually shocked. I expected, with all these Vanish covers popping up all over the place, that someone would ask you for one.
So I used to work closely with a couple of retailers, and they all kind of got too fast, too quick, and so they've like faded out, or they've either folded as a company or they just kind of got out of the variant cover business.
Right.
So it's not like it was my product. Like it's not like they were not happy with what I was doing.
Right.
I'm sure that none of my projects were in the black or in the negative, but they just they wanted to bring all these people on and do all these covers with everybody. And back to the whole argument that I had before, and now they just can't. Like, I don't have a retailer that's like, Brian, like, I want to do stuff with you. Like, let's do one every 2 months or something like that. So I don't have anything. So just like for this Creep Show, I'm on the Image mailing list, and they send me the list of all the comics that are available for variant covers, and I'll go through them and I'll look and see which one I think I fit best with. And then I will use social media to try to find a retailer and say, hey, retailers out there, here's a book coming out and I think I'd be good for it. Does anybody want to fucking pay me?
Is that really how that's how you have to do it? Like, the companies don't find the retailers for you?
No, I'm sure. No. Because I'm doing retail variant covers.
Right. But if I'm a publisher and I'm, say, working with Past, Present, Future, my local store, I would rather come to them with an artist in hand as opposed to as opposed to sending you to do it. I don't know. That's a weird business model.
So the way it works is Image says, we've got this book coming out. We've got a cover A and a cover B and like 18 incentive covers. That's it. But you run a comic book shop and you want your own cover. So you have to approach Image and say, Image, I want my own cover, 500 copies. And Image will say, well, give us the artwork. And then you, as the comic book shop, has to find yourself an artist to give you that cover. Now with Marvel and DC,
it's different.
The way it works with Marvel and DC is sometimes if you're a retailer and you say you want your own cover for Hulk, whatever, they'll have a cachet of variant covers that someone already did in their Marvel pool, and they'll say, pick from these, and you can have one of these as your variant cover, or you can hire one of our Marvel approved artists.
Right.
But but Marvel has a list of like, here's some you can pick from one of these.
Right. Who on set? We had that when we did, well, not we, but the retailer I work with did the Dark Knight 3, which was like 2 years ago. They did an exclusive. Tony Daniel did a cover with Batman, but it was the same thing. Here's your list. Here's who's still available. Pick, and then they would draw your cover.
And so I find myself, I haven't achieved enough to be on the big two's list of.
Sure, but I didn't know. I thought Image would still do it the same way that Marvel and DC did. I didn't realize they.
And part of the reason, like, Image is big into the variant cover game, and that's what all of these retailers are getting their cousin, sister's brother who has a full pack of crayons to do covers for.
Right.
Well, it's, and I know a lot of bigger stores are getting out of it.
I don't blame them.
My store in New Hampshire, they only do Turtles covers, but they're from where the Turtles are from. So that's all they're doing now. They used to do a lot of them. And they have like the Black Caravan guys, Joe Schmelke, and they have Rich Woodall right there, who's willing to do covers and come and do signings. And it's
that's the way it should be. That way that your local store commissions a semi-local people to do their covers so they can do in-stores and it can be part of a community and it can build these things up. But for me here in my metro Atlanta area, none of the retailers around here do variant covers.
Are you coming to see us at Legion this weekend on Saturday?
No, I'm flying out Friday to go to Shreveport.
Oh, okay.
No, several guys are going to that show. Is that a good show?
They flew me out as a guest, so they're flying me out and then putting me in a hotel and shit. And so I was like, I would have
Yes.
never. I would never volunteer myself to go to Louisiana because that's out of my travel safety zone.
Okay.
But if I'm not in it for anything, then I'll go see. And they here's the thing, and I feel terrible about this. They're flying me out there because of the recount, but they didn't even want Jonathan. I'm like, they liked my covers, and they like, we wanted to have you out because you did those recount covers. And I was like, well, like, here's Jonathan's information. So I told Jonathan, I was like, dude, you need to reach out to these guys, man. They said they like the recount, and that's why they invited me. So see if you can go. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he reached out or whatever happened. But then like 2 months later, they say, oh, we got the scout team coming in. We're going to do all these scout people. And I was like, oh, man, Jonathan didn't get on. But
Well,
I mean, so I know
that's
that there's
how it
a lot of you guys are going to be up here, like right down the street. At,
What's the store you're going to?
Me?
What's the store called? Legion?
It's Comic-Con. It's like at a
Legion
A&W.
Comic-Con.
Oh, it's a show. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a scout guy who's putting it on, who asked some people to come up. Just one of the guys who creates a book is a book called Byron. He's a tattoo artist in the local
I know
area.
Byron. Okay.
Yeah. It's not like scout related at all. He just was like, hey, people who I made friends with, are you willing to make the drive? And I'm willing to make the drive. And I don't expect to make a dime because of, how far it is and hotels and all that. But, if you can help somebody
Don't
out.
say that, man. You can make a dime. Dude, I've done it. Not in recent years, but I've done it, and I'm just a writer, dude. I mean,
No, I
you're a writer,
saw
too.
that all of you guys were going, and I was like, oh, cool. We'll go out and have some nachos and shit with a whole bunch of guys. I was like, fuck, I'm not going to be here that weekend.
Yeah. No, I got offered. I was really upset. Like that. Your PalmCon weekend is really busy.
It is.
And I will tell you that I won't tell you who on air, but there's someone who was offering money to go out.
To go where? What are you talking about?
Who offered me like $300 cash to go to a con.
To go to a convention
on your weekend because that's how busy it is.
I know there's 2 other cons that are going on, and it's probably the one that's closer to you, so I don't have to think too hard on that.
One of them offered me, and but I was like, I'm going to New Hampshire. I have a whole thing, have a plan.
Yeah.
Because New Hampshire's cheap for me. My family lives there. I have a car up. I have a car up there that I share with my brother because my dad died and we kind of split the car. So I have everything I need, so I don't have to rent anything.
But here's the thing, man, and I'll say this to anybody, Brian, Travis, anybody, if you can get out of your area, do it because
I have had great success. Like when I've been in Nebraska and I made money in Nebraska. I made money in Kansas City. Anytime I leave, I make money, but I think part of that is the show that I'm doing bills me as, hey, we're bringing in Brian Silverbacks. Sure. And then so that kind of like, if Brian just flew there, I don't think it would have the same effect.
That's a valid. But now, see, here's the thing. Here's a little inside baseball. It's late. No one cares. If you're gonna book a show, and if the show's not gonna guest you, you could still say, hey, can you list me as a guest? I'll pay my way.
Yes, I have that in a couple of places.
Because that'll open other doors for you.
Yeah. Well, the appearance is everything.
Mm-hmm.
The reason as much as I don't want to be, we're salesmen. People are buying
I hate it.
us as a character, they're buying us as an individual, and they're buying our product. So if you run around and you've got swastika tattoos all over, your comic book could be the best it's going to be. but so they're buying the whole package. So the more that you come off as like, oh shit, that convention says that he's a guest and he's guest quality, maybe he needs my attention. And so I don't turn it down, but in my head, like for all you late night viewers or whatever, I'm like, I don't think they got the right fucking guy because do they know who I am? Like, I don't know if I'm going to make them any money.
Well, I don't know if you remember when the Seamus guys were doing the Ace Comic Cons, they guested me for Arizona, and I lost money on it because I had to fly to Arizona, get a hotel in Arizona, feed myself, feed Heidi in Arizona. But I did it because that's a high-end convention that has my name listed as a guest to really open other doors.
And you can leverage that when when little two bunk show has something going on, you could be like, yo, I was a guest at this show. So if you want me to come to your show, you're gonna have to give me like free lunch or something, or you're gonna have to pay for my gas.
Or a hotel or whatever. Yeah. Now, the thing but that's the thing I wanted to talk about with cons and like getting out of your area. Florida is replete with 2-bunk shows. I know I put one on but I've done them all, I think, at this point, and it's not doing me any favors to keep doing them.
And I get that. So there's a show that I did in Kansas City like last year, and those guys had me out as a guest. It was great. And then this year they had the same show and I didn't hear anything back. And I was like, that's smart. None of the same guests were there the second year. That way that maybe you can invite them back in like 2 or 3 years so that your local people don't see the same 3 faces every time and be like, yo, I got everything you had last time you were here. Why bother?
But to a counterpoint to that, there's a couple of shows that I do on the regular that I have fans who come out specifically to buy my stuff. MegaCon, there's a group of people who I know every year. These people at MegaCon will buy my table. They'll buy whatever I made.
Yeah, but they don't.
Same thing at Daytona.
But MegaCon's not a 2-bunk show.
Sure,
no.
Fair.
No, yeah. Like the most money I make is at little Butthole, Alabama, or Butthole, Florida, like any of these like cities where they don't have shit else to do. Like I'll make a shitload of money.
I'll say when they first did the very first Ocala Comic Con, we did that show and everybody in that town was so hungry for comics. Like,
yes.
This is amazing. But then the next year wasn't quite the same. But yeah, it's that principle when a new show in an area that's underserved by comic stores.
Or just anything. Like, see, here in Atlanta, it's probably the same thing around most of Florida. There's always something, a concert, a festival, something for people to spend their money on. But when you go to Butthole, Alabama, they'd have to drive 1 hour, like an hour and a half to get to the biggest city and do something. So they don't spend their money all year round. And they're all hardworking people. They're all like roughnecks and shit like that. So they make a good amount of money. And then when you come in there with your like, I got Deadpool, I got Batman, they're like, fucking take my money.
I'm Googling Butthole, Alabama Comic Con right now.
It's a hidden gem.
Well,
it's a hidden nugget.
The negative about like Florida and some of these bigger places is they'll get like a decent guest to come out. And if you're doing a 1-day show and they have a big guest, I always try to avoid those. So let's say Ryan Stegman, right? So you get Ryan Stegman out. Well, anyone who wants a Ryan Stegman sketch is going to wait half the show to get their sketch or whatever. And then those other 4 hours, you'll be lucky if they see you because they're still looking for their key issues or whatever, right? Because these are collectors. These are people who really like stuff. So they're never going to come to the indie section, or even if they do, they're not going to give it the amount of time that it deserves for you to get the sale. So I think that those things are tough and trying to figure it out. It's tough. Like for my Granite State Punk, Danny has given me a decent budget to pick, and I'm trying to figure out who to pick to get that cover in, and I'm scared, right? I'd rather sell it. I'd rather get someone who I could fly out, who's sit next to me. But he also goes, I did really good when I did the Alan Quall. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to worry about getting people in the store. It just sold because it was Alan Quall.
Yep.
So it's tough, and I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to that. It's just reality. We got to figure it out, as we do this. But I think like stuff like going back to your recount, I think there was with MegaCon they flooded the market with that cover like that the preamble. There was so many covers. I think that kind of hurt that each individual store didn't get as much or didn't be able to do as much. Not the content was bad. It was just so many covers for that damn book. There's like 7.
Well, I think a lot of that is people they were kind of sleeping on the recount the first time.
Sure, yeah.
And they said, oh, this is another recount #1 thing. We're going all in on this one. And so they kind of just like, fucking, let's do it.
And then everyone was like, shit, everybody had the same idea. Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, that goes back to our original conversation about variants, huh?
Right.
We don't need the
I
big
got it.
cover for that one.
No, but
But
we're saying. So go ahead.
No, go.
No, I'm just rambling.
I'm just
You know,
saying
it's
we're,
not-
we're getting late, so I'll hang out for another half hour or so, but it's up to you guys. You know, I'm just willing to shoot the shit, whatever the case may be. I love talking comics.
Me too. I don't get
I
to do
don't-
it much. Yeah.
I
Even
don't
when I go
talk
to a
other
show,
human
you know.
beings.
No, just my family. Yeah, I don't leave the. I work from home, so I never leave the
Yeah,
house.
me
you
too.
know.
So I'm just here all day, every day, except for when I go to class.
There you go.
Yeah, I do best at, for me, Comic Cons do great, but store signings do even better because I have a fan base when I go to that store signing. Though I do really
As long
well.
as it's not overcrowded. Like if it's 6 people there,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you're
yeah,
like, "Oh, fuck." But if it's just like you and maybe one other person, there's enough money to go around.
Right. See, I've never really. I've done maybe a hand. I think I've done 3 stores. Maybe I've done my local stores, but I don't like the store signing. I don't think for all the effort and time you put into it, I think you're better off going to a Comic-Con. No, I mean you have, obviously results may vary. You may make an okay amount of money at the store signing, but is that time well spent? Like if you use your time at a comic. I was talking to Roland about this, about going to a small show versus a bigger show. Say you go to a small show and you lose about $150 going to that show.
Sure.
And you've sold maybe 30 books and you've spoke to maybe in another, I don't know, say you interact with 150 people. So you've made 150 to 200 impressions and you're out $150. But now you go to a bigger show, maybe you're going to be out $300. You come up short, or even $400, but you've sold 200 copies and you've come in contact with 2,000 people who now know your brand. That next time you go to Kickstarter, next time you roll through that convention, next time they see your book, like you're about to hit with the retailer stuff on the shelf, is that time and money better spent?
That's the hope. That's the hope that I made contact with 2,000 people. Hopefully they'll come back next year. Like,
right.
That's the hope. But so for me, when I do those in-store signings, I have something that maybe the two of you don't have, is that I can draw on demand. And that's I can generate more money in that 4-hour period doing, 20 sketches at $50 a piece and doing remarks on people's covers at $15 a piece. I'm walking out of there a little bit better off than the writer who's just like selling the books. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
it's more lucrative to do the in-store.
I think I'm thinking more like with Travis with the Orange Cone and maybe with Cosmic Times as far as building the brand,
right?
Or even your own personal brands. But like you say, an artist is a whole nother animal. I was going to go to the Ringling School of Art and study animation, and I to this day I regret I didn't do it, because then I could draw my own comics. I don't have to pay people for it. But,
yeah, I think it's something. I mean, 2023 is super scary for me. I'll be honest, because my goal is to be in Diamond all 12 months, and it looks like I'm already in there 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months with something that's not announced, and the 3 months that people already know, and that's kind of scary. Like, is that going to distract me from building the Orange Cone brand with the Kickstarters and stuff like that? Because we also have a full lineup of 8 books for next year, like right now, like, so it's crazy. And 2 of those are super launches. Like I have a super launch of a crazy thing I'm doing, and then Cthulhu ones that take up a lot of time that never land.
Well, you have to ask yourself, what's more important to you? Is it more important to have not to say this is the case, but the ego of having, because you'll make more on your Kickstarters. You know that.
Yeah, you're money wise, absolutely, I get that. Yeah.
But so then, is building the Orange Cone brand your priority?
Right. Well, it never was. I didn't want Orange Cone. I wanted the right comics, but it just I seem to be good at running a business and have good ideas, and people want to work for me.
Because I'll tell you, I mean, I've with From Blood. I mean, I know I'm going back to the well this time. I made much more on the Kickstarters. By the 3rd issue, I was losing money on From Blood in the catalog. So not to mention it's shipped late. There's value to being in a catalog. I swear everybody should do it because it opens doors. It gets you those guest spots at shows and whatnot, assuming the books hit. Because obviously Recount's the exception. I mean, for all the books Scouts put out, how many of those are recount level?
And it's possible yours becomes the next recount or it doesn't, and that's so what's like I've never been. It's a character flaw. It's why my Kickstarters always come in low. I don't have any kind of ego whatsoever. I just like Brian, self promotion. It's like monkeypox. I don't want it.
Want to do it. Like I want to just lose as little money as possible.
Right.
They're all going to lose money. I'm into these things balls deep, and I'm just trying to get a little bit back.
Yeah. No. Or
because
get to the next level. Yeah.
For me, I'm helping other. I'm helping. Like I'm inclusive, and that makes me feel good. Is to help and do things. So if I can do that and not drown, I'll be okay. But I don't make money.
Right. Still? Oh, but you have a name.
None of my Kickstarters have been profitable.
Oh, the Kickstarters, yeah.
Oh,
to me, Kickstarter's extra money,
I don't like comic books. I pay my bills with my covers and graphic design and draw me this and commissions and shit like that.
You're an artist.
Kat, you asked for a remark. A remark is when someone draws on a cover, but they don't draw. They kind of add something to the cover, like add a Batman head to something or whatever the case may be. That's
just Google Greg Horn, you'll see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of like when are we going to get like Cthulhu invades the Playboy Mansion? That way we can incorporate Cthulhu fandom and booby fandom, so that you would have the best-selling.
Okay, that
ever.
I'll pitch you on the Bill Cosby story for that one. That's the one. Where Cthulhu wakes up the next morning, or whatever, one of the monsters. Why does it hurt? Just be quiet now.
I'm saying if you could figure out a way to incorporate a booby thing, like Cthulhu invades the dressing room, Cthulhu invades Victoria's Secret or the lingerie hut.
Yeah, it's just not me. Like the booby stuff is just not me. Like I don't. It doesn't attract me in the comic store. It's not.
No, it's weird. He likes dicks. He was all about how many dicks can you get on a cover. It was like Travis. Jesus.
That's why. That's why I love Cthulhu. He's got all these little dicks just hanging out.
See what I mean? Not joking.
I don't know. It's just not my thing. I like women superheroes. I buy a lot of them, but I'm not. But if it gets too sexualized, I just kind of like,
I joked around and I said that I'm gonna, like, after this Kara Prime thing, these two issues here, I'm gonna write Cthulhu destroys Kara Prime. Like that's what I'm gonna do. So each one of the characters is gonna like be Cthulhuized. And I was like, oh dude, Travis will kick my ass. Like Cthulhu kills Kara Prime is what the name of the fucking anthology is gonna be. Everybody can pick a character and have Cthulhu wipe them out. And that'll just be the end of it. Then I don't have to fucking worry about it anymore.
It's funny we talk about the boobs, though. I was thinking about this the other day that because I'm a writer and I want to write. I have stories inside me I want to tell, and I think most writers have that. And you see, do you disagree? I mean,
no. I would hope that writers have stories that they want to tell.
It's funny if you look at Kickstarter, you think 90% of the writers just had stories about boobs they wanted to tell. I can't believe that's what's inside you wanting to get out.
Comics get read. Like, how many of those get read, or just like, oh man, check this cover out I got?
I don't buy the booby comics, and I'll be honest with you, I don't even read half the Kickstarter comics I get. Sometimes I do it like I backed everybody who was on the. I need to back yours, Brian, who was on the thing, and they all kind of come at the same time, and I have to pick and choose which ones I'm going to read, and then the ones I don't read never get read.
Yeah, I am. I used to be a comic guy. Like I used to read all my comics and stuff, but now I find myself, I'm more of an artist. Like that's where I enjoy most stuff. So it's all about just what looks good. Like and my dyslexia makes it tough for me to read stuff. So I just get stuff that looks cool and makes me happy.
I'll tell you what. I shop at I have a pull list at my local comic shop. I used to use DCBS, but I had to stop because I was getting too many comics, and I wasn't reading them. So then I just started reading them and reviewing them on TikTok just to motivate me a reason to actually read them. Because if not, I don't. They'll just sit in a stack.
but by saying, "What this gives me content for TikTok, so let me read this and talk crap about it on TikTok." So far, I mean, I'm getting more followers, so.
I read 4 comics a day. That's that. Like every day, I make sure I read 4 comics. It's very important to me.
I read 4 comics in a week. I'm lucky.
Yeah, I normally read 3 Marvel or DC, and then 1 of the Kickstarter things that I back.
All right, let me run this idea by you guys. So I was thinking, as an artist, that I would make more work for myself by doing a YouTube channel, but where I would just grab, like I have a shitload of comic books over here, and I would just take one and we would just look at all the art inside the book and kind of just pick it apart and like, look, what can we learn? Not in an evil way, not in a let's make fun of Rob Liefeld way, but let's look through whatever comic book this is and what takeaways can we get? Like, can we talk about the storytelling? Can we talk about the way the inker was done? And just randomly, like once a week, just pick a random ass comic book and go through it. I thought that would be fun, but I don't know. There might not be an audience for that.
I had to do the TikTok because the YouTube is just so much eats so much time, man. I couldn't do the long form stuff. So that's why I switched to just 1 minute on TikTok. Just this book sucks, don't buy it. I mean, this book's great. DC makes the best comics ever.
It'd be awesome if that's your only thing. That's it. People check it every week. It's the same response. This book sucks. Don't buy it.
Well, if you watch my reviews of all the what is this thing called, Dark Crisis books, that is the case. Good Lord, I've never read such bad comics in my life.
Which is so confusing to me because Joshua Williams is a great writer. Like I've read a ton of stuff.
I keep hearing these people say the thing about Tom King. He's a great writer. I'm like, are we sure about this? You know, it's like every time I read somebody's stuff that they say is great, it's like it doesn't feel great to me. Yeah.
I like Tom King though. That Batman. Did you read that Batman time thing that he did? Like the
no, I read what was that crisis of a book he wrote? Heroes in Crisis.
Oh, okay.
The hey, I want to put a bullet in my mouth comic. You know.
Yeah, see that book didn't bother me. It's just the way like why? What's the point? Like you just brought flashback. Like. The story itself doesn't bother me. It's the why did this story have to be told that bothers me.
Again, at the end of the day, it's just like this Dark Crisis. It's feeling a little pointless. Like at the end of the day, I just spent a lot of money to read nothing.
You saw the announcement that it's from San Diego, right?
Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths now.
Right.
I mean,
makes it slightly more interesting to me. I'll tell you that.
Final Dark Crisis on Infinite Earth. You know, they're going to keep adding words to it till it's
if you
Ultimate Crisis.
It'll be good. Exactly. That's why Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies. Broke Down was not good enough. I just kept adding things.
The next one's Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies on Infinite Earths. Wow. Now we have a hit. I mean, are you reading it?
Four naked bodies. Broke Down and 4 naked bodies will do it.
As long as they're girls. Did you read these tie-ins? This was a chore to read.
That Green Lantern was a tough read. I will.
And again, I'm left going, what's the point of it? Because are you reading the event? Not to get too into it, but in the last regular Dark Crisis book, Hal Jordan goes into the Green Lantern universe. I'm like, yes. Nope. No Hal Jordan. Nope. I didn't even know John Stewart had a little sister. I still don't care. Anyways.
No, the tie-ins are really bad, and DC's the worst at it too. If anything hits even a little bit that's not Batman, they just slam it. Like the DC versus Vampires, the Deceased. Like, how many of those can you get out? Because that's just what DC does, because they don't know how to market anything but Batman, which sucks. Like it or hate either Van Sciver, him and Jeff Johns made Green Lantern #2, and they have slowly just killed it since then.
Well, the movies aren't helping them, by the way.
Oh my gosh, could DC be any worse trouble than they are? You know, with Ezra Miller and Amber Heard and Batgirl, it's a nightmare over there. Are you reading the new Amazing Spider-Man from is it Zeb Wells? Is that who's writing it?
Yeah. Zeb Wells. I'm reading that.
It's a great book.
I love it. I'm excited about Dan Slott coming back to the other one. I like Dan Slott's Spider-Man.
See, I was into Dan Slott for a while, then I just got bored of his Spider-Man. I jumped on Brand New Day. I'm like, I'm not going to be the jerk that thinks it's going to suck just because they got rid of the marriage. And I stuck with it for about 2 years, but then I sort of lost it.
You know? My wife's yelling at me. Sorry, hold on. Maybe text her and say sorry. Got a little loud with that.
You're mad. But yeah,
I'm not mad. I love comics. I love them all, and I love the. My favorite book I'm reading right now is the new Fantastic Four by Peter David. And I'm not even a big Peter David fan, but I think that's a fun, super fun comic.
Yeah, what I love about Peter David and Mark Waid specifically is I love that they are so good at writing stories that we're going to fix whatever's wrong, right? Not in this case, but they come in to like, you guys have taken this off the rail. We need to get it back to where it is.
Oh my God.
Back. Like Mark Waid's run on Daredevil was that. I'm going to make him fun again. I'm going to do some stuff. I'm not going to tell anything dark. I'm going to bring Daredevil back so you can enjoy him again, because we put him through so many dark shit. like we got to fix him. And I love that those greats can do that. It's
well, I'll tell you, I think the greatest comic book, my personal favorite comic book run of all time is John Byrne's Fantastic Four run.
Sure.
And I think the second best Fantastic Four run, even ahead of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, is Mark Waid and Mike Wieringo.
Yeah,
their run in that book was it had a beginning, middle, and end. It was brilliantly done. The whole scene where they go to heaven and meet Jack Kirby, I thought was just it was priceless comics there.
Right.
And the thing that bothered me about that is to get into it, because then it was taken over by Hickman. Hickman then did Fantastic Four, and within 6 issues of taking it over, Franklin or Reed tells Franklin, "There's no heaven, there's no hell, there's only." And I'm like, no, 2 years ago they were both in hell and heaven in the Fantastic Four. So I think Reed knows there's a hell and a heaven. He actually met God, who was Jack Kirby. So it's like, I hate when writers do that, when they discount what but Mark Waid didn't do that. Mark Waid wrote a book that was honored the years of Fantastic Four and still did new things with it, just like Byrne did when he had to run.
Now, mind you, I love Hickman's run, so I can't say anything bad about Hickman's run. But
I get
Hickman and Bendis have a horrible flaw of, we only care about the continuity that we care about, and we'll let it contradict each other even if they would both know.
Oh, dude, I was introduced to Bendis with his new Avengers run, and I love that run. And then when he came to DC to take over Superman, I'm like, all right, I'm excited for this. And it was horrible. It was just a horrible version of the character. They aged up the kid. It wasn't. Certain guys should write for certain companies. Like Bendis should never have left Marvel. You know?
Yeah, no. I mean, his reason for leaving Marvel made sense, but yeah, and then nobody likes his Legion. I don't like Legion at all. So for me, doesn't matter. But like everyone I've ever talked to who likes Legion is super angry at Bendis' Legion.
Dude, Legion looks so cool, and I've always tried to get into it, but I just can't. No matter who's writing, I can't get into it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But it looks cool. I mean, it's cool looking books, you know.
Yeah. So what is your Silverback? So something to tell you. I may finally get that damn friggin' Dog Days book.
I saw that.
He sent it to the printer, so we may get our cover one day. He sent it to the printer and told them that they can't print it till October.
Why?
Because of paper?
Because I'll tell you why. Because he wants to make sure that he fulfills the Kickstarter. He doesn't want me to send my copies that I paid for to the backers. Why he's concerned that I would do that is only because of his lack of ability to do that. Because I did tell him that, hey man, like I'm not afraid to give my copies to backers who got them because I care about backers. But yeah, that's this thing. So I will get it in October. So we'll do something fun.
Right on. I think in September, dude. Have you guys ever done the Memphis Comic Expo?
Oh, no, it's on my radar.
Like that. Look at who's on that list for this year. Like James O'Barr, Snyder, Wade, Capullo. There's a lot of that show is heavy on fucking badasses.
Right.
No, my hit voice actors. Whoops. Comic book. They have their own exclusives. Let's see what they got going on.
They have the one, I think.
Oh, they have a creep show by Tony Max. I don't know who that is, but it's like it's drawn with crayons. So it's.
Well, one of the things. I forgot to say this earlier. So Pat Shand is a friend of mine, and Pat cannot get into Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con. He's worked for Zenoscope. He's worked for Boom. He's worked for Black Mass. Cannot. And what makes him furious, Brian, and you'll like this because something you said earlier. Artists that only he's hired can get in.
I've had that happen before.
Oh,
They
wow.
do no other work.
No, I've had that. Jeff DeCalls has worked for me, and he's always a guest in New York. You know,
Crazy.
but at the end of the day, I mean, you want Reed Pop to validate you by making you a guest. I mean, it's Reed Pop. They don't care about comics, man. You know?
I
No,
want
that
anyone,
Memphis show.
anyone to validate me, Martin. Anyone. I don't care who it is.
What? I couldn't.
Low
hear.
hanging fruit.
Oh. I mean, pay your own way. I mean, New York's an expensive show to do, but you'll make it back. You ever do New York?
I have not. I've never gone to New York or San Diego. I want to do both, and I want to go. I want to just go and enjoy it and like network. You know, I'm hoping that
New York's not the show for that, for the networking. You can network on the show floor, but everybody goes their separate way. Like I said, Emerald City and Heroes were the best for that for me. I mean, I got to talk to Diamond at New York. That's the bonus for New York. That's how I got into Diamond, because I was at New York Comic Con. But I recommend doing it. Yeah. All right. I think I got a bolt. My wife's trying to sleep, and she's the bedroom is right on the other side of my wall here.
All right, Martin. I was gonna log off. Do you want to say one more pitch for Blood and just tell people that it exists?
Superpowered mental patient. Box set, metal cover. You got to just do it all. I mean, it's
3 days. Buy it.
Yeah, we got digital, we got physical, we got digital physical, we got boxes, we got metal covers. I think there's a bunch of add-ons where you can get a bunch of the old backstock catalog. There's a Zach Bassett sketch cover you can get as an add-on. What was our goal? Did we get our backer goal?
No, you needed one more.
All right. All right, man. Let me go. My wife's telling me it's a school night and she's dying. All right.
All right. Good night. Nice
All right, take care, guys. We love talking to you guys. Take care, Brian. Take care, Travis. Bye.
Yeah. All right, Travis, I'll go to bed too.
Oh, well, then I'll miss you. I'll just be here alone, just crying.
Well, no, I thought you said you were ready to fucking go to bed.
I said I'll go to bed at 1. I got 15 more minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have nearly the comic book knowledge that any of your other guests do, so you can't talk about all the cool shit.
No, but we can talk about. So, what is the, not counting, because I know you vibe with Jonathan, for whatever. But what is Maniacs your favorite? Because you post that one a lot. What's your favorite like character that you've done that of other covers?
Shit, I don't think I mean, if I were to be 100% honest, I don't think I have I'm indifferent to all of them because they're not mine.
Sure. So it all be like back to
it's all work.
Loggerhead.
Like I'm not even. I'm so lost, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I do know that I'll post stuff because I know that people like it or it's attractive. But nothing is like, oh my god, I really like drawing this independent character.
Right.
Like I don't have that for any independent character. Probably because I don't read enough of the story to like come up with an attachment. Like I like drawing blood, I like drawing visceral stuff. So I enjoy doing that, but it's not like character specific.
No more than me, Brian. Kat, I always make fun of her because of her lack.
Oh well, I know. Okay, but I don't know. I don't know any new stuff. Any knowledge I have is from like 95, like the Image 92, like that time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm doing we're working on Granite State Punk 2, and we're really killing it, and trying to get that stuff, and then figuring out these things are so hard, when you do things, one of the things that when you're making an independent comic, someone said to me, which was really, really interesting. It's like, okay, cool. I can see what cover 1, I can see what cover 2 looks like, but what does cover 12 look like?
Of the story?
Of the story. What does issue 12 look like? And
So-
if it's the same shit as cover 1, then your character isn't exciting enough, which was like really like a hit back, but it's true, right? Like if issue 12 is going to look very similar to issue 1, you're not doing it right.
Well, maybe by the time you get to issue 12, though, your covers will be more connected to what the story is.
Sure.
So it's not just going to be hero pose or
Right,
doing
right.
something cool. It will be like him saving the girl from the last episode or from the last issue or something like, hopefully, because right now in independent market, if your cover isn't like bombastic and hero and fucking colors and all this stuff, then people they're less likely to pick it up if it's
right.
So it needs to be that big show at the beginning. And then if you're going 12 issues into it, then you can have all right, these guys, whoever's buying this is in it for the long haul.
Right.
They want covers that are for the story.
What is your biggest stuff has been an Images stuff, but what is the one you want to do? Do you want to do like Ninja Turtles? Do you want to do?
Oh, dude, I would love to do a Ninja Turtles cover, and I don't even know what my Ninja Turtles will look like. Like I don't know what Ninja Turtles look like when I draw them,
right?
Because I haven't done it. I don't know if it's me being, man. I'm so in my own head about everything. Like I feel that if I draw turtles, then everybody will already know what they look like, and they'll be like, all right, well, we've seen it. We don't need to get him to do a cover because we know what his fan art turtles look like. And I'm like, I want to wait for somebody to fucking pay me to draw Ninja Turtles because, first of all, like for me, Ninja Turtles aren't my jam. Like there's people that Ninja Turtles are their jammy jam, and I'm not one of those people. I don't have anything against them, but it's not my jammy jam. So I don't draw them naturally, like as part, like, oh, you know what? I'm going to doodle on this paper and I'm going to draw a Ninja Turtle. So I don't have that. So I would like someone to pay me to put my turn on Ninja Turtles.
Well, I'll tell you, IDW does not pay well. So
no, it would be a variant cover, like the store would pay
yeah,
me.
but even very because IDW pays for a lot of those. Dude, it was crazy. Just to give you an idea of IDW, okay, imagine what I paid you for art. So I know your rate. I know someone who had to do all 4 Turtles, all 4 Ghostbusters, both the vehicles, with the bad guys up in the corner for your rate that you gave me as
on one cover.
On one cover, and it was a pro who had Marvel and DC credit, and he did it because he wanted to draw fucking Ninja Turtles.
Yes, yeah, okay, then that makes sense. And like, so if someone came up to me and said, Brian, I'm gonna get you on exclusive for Ninja Turtles Ronin 18 or whatever new shit is out, right? If I had to, I would do it for free.
Right.
For the fact that I got to work on that, like that to me is a prestige. That's a check mark.
Right.
So I would eat all the costs. I'm not going to charge you anything. I'll keep my art and I'll give you the file to print, but I'll do it for free just so I can get on that book. And that's the way that I've done that in the past. In order to get myself further along,
sure, I
need to give up, hey, I'll do that for free, but your next one, pay full price or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, everyone does it, right? Like that Dog Day situation was me going, he's a 5-issue miniseries. Hey, I just want comps. Like I'll write all 5 issues. Yeah. Same thing as you. Like, sometimes you go, this guy's really good at moving the needle. He's doing some stuff. I'll give him a really good discount or thing because I know that that's going to pay off somewhere else,
Or it could lead to more work, or maybe I just wanted to establish a relationship, something to that effect. So when you ask me, what's the favorite thing that of all the covers I've done, I have the answer.
Okay.
It's not a character specific, but it's genre specific.
Okay.
And I like doing the wrestling stuff.
Right.
So whenever Matthew Kingston comes to me and he's like, hey, Brian, can you do this, or this? I'm like, oh, shit, yeah. Because I would like to be, if I were to pick out of all of comic book stuff, if I could be more associated with one avenue and be like, oh, that's Brian, the wrestling comic artist guy. Like
Right.
that would be where I'd like to be. The caveat is I'm not that good at drawing likenesses, so I really have to fucking like cheat and like really work on it and erase and do all this, like take my time to get to the likeness stuff. So that's why I draw the ones with face paint and shit.
Right. Yeah, no. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's stuff. And I can get you connected with the guy who does the wrestling comic books, but the problem is he does all the old stuff.
No, I know who you're talking about. John Crowder.
Yeah.
He's got his team, and I've talked to him and I've messaged him. He knows where to find me if he's interested in working with me.
Sure. Yeah. And it's rates. A lot of these guys, they have to pay so much for the licensing of it.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not mad. Like, see, to me, most of the books that he's putting out, I don't personally have an interest in them.
Right. Gangrel was the only one that I was like, yeah.
They're not wrestlers that, I mean, maybe the Bushwhackers one, like that one would have been fun for me to do because I watched the Bushwhackers, but I didn't care. I didn't know who the Killer Bees were. Sure. I didn't really watch, Bruno Sammartino. Like, I know that they're big guys, but I never, like, they don't have a place in my history of watching wrestling.
Right.
So now when I got to do like Zack Ryder and when I get to do like Jerry the King Lawler, like that kind of shit, like I was like, I watched those guys.
Yeah. So my second Granite State Punk is called Breaking Edge.
Breaking Edge?
Breaking Edge. So you know what Edge is, like
straight Adam Copeland? No,
like straight edge, like CM
Punk. CM Punk.
So see, he's got the CM Punk. I have to figure out the proper pose to do the Best of the World cover with my guy with the straight edge. That's why
you just do this.
Yeah, but I want to do the
cover that he did on the cover of the video game when he was when CM Punk was the cover of the video game. This was it. And now that he's in AEW, the shirt, one of his best-selling shirts, is him with the two hands right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it because the character becomes straight edge in the book, and then break straight edge because it's called Breaking Edge. But yeah,
Darby Allin's straight edge too.
Yeah. Which I find super interesting, especially being in that industry and being straight edge is super hard because you're in a lot of game.
You would think all the stuff that Darby Allin does, like he would be on some Percocets or some sort of painkiller from all those skateboard injuries and all that jackass type shit that he does.
Right.
God dang, man. That's just brutal watching him do his stuff.
Yeah. Did you see that? I just saw it that I guess CM Punk can wrestle and he's gonna wrestle on friggin' AEW like on a house show.
He's been with AEW for over a year now.
Yeah, but he got hurt.
Oh yeah, well he just came back last week.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he came back. I just saw
he came back last week at the last like 5 minutes of the show, and his music hit, and nobody knew he was going to be there. And he was like, "John Moxley, I'm the real champ. Blah blah blah. Let's go fight." And so tonight, they fucking jaw-jacked twice in one episode of Dynamite, and they're like, "Next week we're going to iron this shit out."
Nice.
So next week, John Moxley versus CM Punk for the unification.
I'm excited to see that. I love AEW. I just catch it. I catch clips in the most important matches, and then I just don't have time for 8 hours of wrestling in my life anymore.
No, it's just 2 hours.
No, I know, but I do Raw and SmackDown. I do.
Yeah, I stopped
both things.
I stopped watching WWE a long time ago. But I know that now that Triple H is there, that things might be getting better.
Yeah, it is what it is, right?
Well, I heard Kevin Owens say something. He's like, "We're wrestlers. It's a wrestling ring," and I was like, "Oh shit, he's using those words." And then he said, "For the title," and I know that Vince McMahon didn't let them use the word title or
all that stuff. They had a great promo. So, but I think it's bedtime. You got 2 backers tonight, by the way.
They were both guests on your show.
Doesn't matter. But let's share it one more time.
I put it in the comments.
I'm actually shocked that we that Jonathan isn't bringing more to this. That Jonathan's name doesn't just bring people in. It's weird because I know he shared it.
He has his own thing that launches in like a couple of days, and so he doesn't want to divide focus because this. He was planning on the release, and I just did this because everything was done.
Right.
So, and I haven't talked to him, but
he's been sharing it though. He shared it a couple of times. I think.
I know, but his rightful focus should be on getting people to focus on what he's getting ready to launch next.
Right, sure.
So I'm not. Yeah, I don't expect him to do anything. And I mean, if he was sharing it every day and doing all these podcasts and stuff like that, then yeah. But I don't. It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
I mean, even like, oh my God, it's Loggerhead. I thought that maybe there'd be a little bit more care for that, but there doesn't seem to be.
Right. Well, it's comics are weird, man. And it's and you look at Indiegogo though. You look at superheroes on Kickstarter versus superheroes on Indiegogo. Indiegogo tends to do better on superheroes, tend to be more of a focus. Not that I think you should go to Indiegogo because
I don't want to. I'm afraid that if you do stuff like that, then it's like that whole comics game.
Yeah, you get labeled as whatever. Yeah,
and I don't give a shit.
I hear you.
All right, man.
But I loved hanging out. I'm glad you came on. We'll get you. You're gonna fund though. You're at your funding mark. I want you to make more money, but you'll get the $2,000. I want you to make more.
Yeah. Well, my last Kickstarter didn't fund, so I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah, but you're on the path, and I think people do like Loggerhead. Just the biggest thing is getting that update on that on the Terra Prime.
Oh yeah. I'll do that. I can't. I might do that tomorrow before I leave. It depends, man. There's no air conditioning in my house. I think I'm just gonna go to the movies. Like it is fucking hot in here.
But yeah, I would write it up and put that there because that's your biggest fan base for Terra Prime.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the link wasn't active. It was just text.
He said, "Don't get used to it. You can do this." Indiegogo has weird vibes. It's comics are super weird. I don't even know what's going on. Blake, I love you. Blake is good, and we got to find you some covers. As you saw, I got a ton of announcements, so I'll see if I can get you on one.
No, dude, don't go out of your way. Like if it's a fit, it's a fit. I don't ask for favors. Like if it, you know what I'm saying, and that's part of probably why I don't have much money is because I don't like, hey man, what can I do for you? Or I see people, they know where to find me if you want me. Fuck, sure. I'm not gonna. Because then let's say that I watched you post, I got 18 comic books coming out, right? I don't want to come to you and say, hey man, can you throw me a bone? Blah blah blah. Right, sure. Like Travis knows where to find me. If Travis wants me for a cover, I'll say, hey Brian, here's what I got. So I don't want to put the pressure on anybody and say and go up and say, hey man, can I get one of those? Like I don't want to put that pressure. Like that's unnecessary.
It's tough, buying art is way harder than buying a writer, right? Get a writer $20 a page, no big deal. 50 if you're going the high, sometimes you get it for 10. Those aren't that difference of a price, but I can ask an artist, it can be anywhere from $100 to $1,000, right? Like the gaps are so crazy. And then doing the math on that. All right, cool. If I pay him, how many covers do I got to get? Am I going to need the Virgin? Like, what do I need to get my money back, right? I backed Terra Prime when Kevin did the short. If you ever want to do another show, hit me up. All right. Blake does a show on Wednesday night. If you ever want to hit it up. So, Rex?
It is Wednesday night, right?
Yeah. He's done tonight, but maybe next week. I think another week on the Kickstarter.
Yes. Oh, yeah, 8 days, it says.
Yep. Hit him up, Blake. See if you can do that. He's always doing covers for various people and doing cool stuff.
I'm trying to stay busy. And I'm going to acting class, so we'll see where that goes.
Well, you're already in Spider-Man as a guard, right?
Yeah, well, yes. But I haven't done any work in the past year because I stopped doing background stuff. Like for me, so I was in the Creepshow TV series. Right. I was in season 3 of Creepshow, and I did a Creepshow cover. Like for me, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like if I could do a Walking Dead cover because I was on season 8, like that would bring back the cool factor. Be like, not only was I on the show, but I did a cover. Check that out. So we're getting there, man. All right, have a good night, buddy.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, that is it. It is over. Blake and Kat, I think you're the only ones here. I appreciate both of you guys. Kat, I saw your comment earlier. I appreciate you doing Cthulhu. Yeah, there's not a lot. Believe it or not, I know we raised a lot of money, but if you do the math of $50 a page, it goes pretty quick. And then I have to send comps for those who don't get the $50 a page. It's crazy. But I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm losing my voice because I've been talking so much. And I need it for Friday. So I got to go. Love you guys. I'm going to do my outro. And, I'll post your comments if you leave any comment responses. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with me for Comic Book Hangout. I love both those comments. I love both of you guys. Thank you. Bye.